the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We got breaking news coming out of Miami right now. The Miami Dolphins are one of the few teams that is trying to make a blockbuster trade for Bradley Chubb right now. At this moment, they are talking about it. I got a lot of insight on it. From actually a week and a half ago is something I'm gonna share with y'all that was told to me from outside of the building. That can shed some light on this. But this is let me just say this before we get started. These are the moves you make. These are the game-changing moves. These are the freaking moves that you make. Now, how much it's gonna cost, that's a different story, but I'm sorry, these are the moves that you make. We're going to talk about that and so much more. Real quick, this breaking news is brought to you by Mojo Sports, the stock market for players. Make sure you go check out Mojo Sports. The link is in the description of the video. I've already we went over it, like I said, a million times. Mojo Sports, what it is, the stock market for players, their rise, their fall. You get to invest in their long-term careers and their future. Take advantage of Mojo Sports. If you're in Jersey, you could play now. If you're not in Jersey, then you're not able to actually invest yet, but it is coming to a state near you. So go ahead and download the app so that you could play throughout it. Mojo Sports, ladies and gentlemen, the link is in the description of the video. All right. hit that like button on your way in. We got to talk about this, man. We got to talk about this. The Miami Dolphins would be, man, we got to put a full court press on this opportunity. We're talking about a former first-round pick back in 2018. We're talking about a guy who was a Pro Bowler in 2020. We're talking about the leader of a team's defense, a pure, legit baller, a wrecking ball who wreaks havoc at the linebacker position and comes after the quarterback. We need this guy. Look at our linebacker core. We need this guy. Bradley Chubb is as real as they come. He is as real as they come, ladies and gentlemen. Now, about a week and a half, maybe 2.5 weeks ago, it's getting muddy now. I was speaking with, I guess what they call your plugs, the people that, give you, in the drug world, the plug is the person that supply you your drugs or whatever. But in the Dolphin world, the plug is the person who supply you with information from the inside out. All right. I was speaking, and they are very unhappy. At the time, they were very unhappy with Ogba and Jalen Phillips. The production level that they had been providing 5 games in, they were very unhappy with. Very unhappy with. Jalen Phillips, I feel like, is starting to do a little better the last few weeks, but they are very unhappy with their edge rushers. And I didn't think that they would be looking for a trade when you look at the contract situations, but they are. They are sitting here in a bidding war. And this is if the Broncos decide they want to go through with the trade. But the big players in this trade is the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. And I'm going to tell y'all now, the Jets defense is already legit. Some of y'all may not know, but they're actually ranked 7th in the NFL. You bring in Chubb, that defense is going to be top 3 in the NFL. You bring in Chubb, that defense is going to be top 3 in the NFL. We don't only need to make this move for us, but to also play defense. We don't only need to make this move for us, which we do, but we need to play defense to keep him away from the Jets. Because I'm telling you, he goes to the Jets, and that's a top 3 defense. Immediately. He is the real deal. Miami, and right now they are discussing first-round picks. Now, when I heard that, I was like, ugh. Did you see what Tyreek just posted? No, I haven't. I haven't seen what Tyreek posted. On Twitter? You talk about Twitter? Look at it, TD. Where? On Twitter? Oh, the Hill Hunt stuff? Now Kareem Hunt posted it, and look at the song. What's happening? Perfect timing, little baby. Hill Hunt. Man, listen. I told y'all that teams don't go for broke unless they believe in their quarterback. They go get Hunt. They go get Bradley Chubb. This team is all in on Tua. They go get Hunt and they go get Bradley Chubb. This team is all in on Tua. Period. Oh my gosh. Chubb has good contract, good player, first Lil Much. Man, listen. I don't know what this stuff means, man, because I ain't heard much about on the Hunt front. But that Bradley Chubb stuff is real. But you can't get everybody. I mean, I don't know how you're going to do it unless you're trading away future assets for the next several years. You know what? Let me say this. Miami might go for broke, and let me tell you why. And it may not just be because of who they believe in and who they don't believe in. I think they recognize their salary cap situation for the next few years. And they may need to just go broke now and understand they're not going to be able to invest in nothing over the next 2 years. Now, if there's some players involved in these trades, That's a different story. Now it's a matter of who you giving up. Now, the enticing thing with the Dolphins is this. Let's start out with Bradley Chubb. You bring a Bradley Chubb in, you got some players that you could trade that are favorable in trading because they are expiring contracts. You can move on from Eric Rowe. You can Ogbah's new deal. You can send Ogbah so we can get off of that deal and kind of swap it, because this is another thing that nobody's talking about in the Bradley Chubb situation. He's on a contract year. One-time Pro Bowler. The reason why they're open to trading him is because the price tag. They just got Russell Wilson. They got to find ways to cut cost. And he's on 2018. This is his 4th year right here. I don't know. I'm sure they picked up his 5th-year option, but he needs his big deal. He needs his big deal. So to hear that we're in a bidding war with the Jets and we're trying to get Bradley Chubb, we also have to recognize that's going to come with a heavy price tag, which leads me to believe that they're probably trying to ship players like Ogbah, Eric Rowe. I mean, Eric Rowe wasn't a healthy scratch for nothing. This is his 5th-year option now. That's even worse. Now you can't roll in a new deal with the 5th-year option. You just got to straight up give him his new deal. This is interesting. TD, if this happens, great, but still need DBs and O-line help. Well, you got to understand, most teams can't have everything. So if you see, most teams don't have everything, ladies and gentlemen. So if you ain't got the O-line, will be exceptionally great in the pass rush. If you ain't got the cornerbacks, be exceptionally well in the run game or the receiving core. I mean, it's just how it works. You can't have everything. And if you do have everything, you're probably in that small window you have, like Buffalo. Technically, Buffalo has everything. And listen, y'all know me. Y'all know the worst core on this entire team, in my opinion. The worst unit on this entire team, in my opinion. So this opened my eyes. Our linebacking core, I have zero respect for. Always have. You bring in Chubb, instantly, you got a playmaker. You got a dog on it. Matter of fact, you got a dog on the team because we need a few of them. TD, is Jalen Hurts a franchise quarterback? Not yet. It look like he might be headed in that direction, but not yet. Got to let it play out. Mike, salute to you. Morning, TD and Fins fam. Hope everyone had a great day, having a great day today. Yes. Thank you, sir. Listen, we don't have a pass rush, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a pass rush. Any bit of pass rush we get is schemed up. We don't have an organic pass rush. We cannot compete with the Buffaloes of the world, the Kansas Cities of the world in the playoffs. We can't compete with these great teams if you ain't got a pass rush. You can't. You cannot compete if you don't have a pass rush. TD, how do we get Chubb and Judy? Why y'all keep bringing up Judy, man? We don't need no wide receivers. And while we're at it, Green Bay exposed Bills' run D last night. That has been the problem for multiple years. The Ogba contract was bad. Yeah. See, they gave Ogba that contract because he had all them sacks because of our schematic, the way we schemed our defense. That's the only reason he had all them sacks. And I told y'all that. Schematically is where everybody thrived. Holland thrives in the system. Now look at him when he ain't in that system. I mean, let's be honest here. Look at Holland yesterday, y'all. What did y'all think about Javon Holland yesterday? The more he has to play traditional safety role, the less impressed I am. I remember having this conversation with EM. I said, yeah, Holland is great, but I don't know about him in a traditional set. I need to see it first. He said, nah, he'll be great in a traditional set. I said, all right. He's good. He's great, but I don't think he's going to be great on a regular basis in a traditional defense. And hopefully he is. But we'll see. Holland never been asked to guard, slot, or tight end, regardless. At the end of the day, if we really think about Javon Holland, he has always taken advantage of the scheme that we've been in. And it allowed him to be free, like that Palomalu type, and I love it. But if we're not going to run that defense, certain safeties you see what I mean? Certain safeties, they play a certain way depending on the scheme. It's just like a zone defense versus a man-to-man defense, right? All corners ain't the same. You could be the best corner in the league because you play in a zone defense, but you play man, you terrible. Or you could be the best corner in the league because you play in a man system, but in zone, you're terrible. That's why the corner rankings and safety rankings and all of that, it all depends on the defense you're in, what kind of system you're in. Don't think all these guys can just play every system and they're great. Some of them benefit from the system that they're in. Their athletic profile fits it. That's just how it works. But yeah. Anyway, man, these are, like I told y'all, these are the moves that the Miami Dolphins have to make. It's just a matter of what kind of package are you going to give? Because let me say this. Y'all have to understand, if Miami does make some moves right now, right? You have to come to the realization that whatever you do right now, if you make one of these moves, yet alone two, this is your team locked in for the next 2 to 3 years. Period. Ain't no next year we need to go get that. No. This is your team. This is pretty much your team locked in because you won't have any money. You won't have any draft capital. It is what it is. So at the conclusion of it, whatever your team is, at the conclusion of it, understand it ain't going to get much better than that, if better at all. So if you're going for it, you're going for a Super Bowl. And I ain't never running from that challenge. If you believe Chris Grier, go for it and let's go. And let's all get on and let's see where it takes us. Let's see where it takes us. TD, I don't see Grier making any trades. Well, you never know. It just depends on who's pulling the strings. Stephen Ross could be the one that's saying, you know what? Stephen Ross could come back, right? He could have came back and told Grier, if we don't at least make the playoffs this year, I'm moving on from you. You never know. And that may cause Grier to say, hey, let me make sure we make it. Even furthermore, he could tell him, I need to see a huge playoff push. You don't know what the expectation is. Or they could simply say, we're going to load this team so much that if we don't do it, we know that certain people ain't fit for this roster. You never know. But I'm more concerned about the Jets making this trade than anybody. Because I'm telling you now, if the Jets get Bradley Chubb, They might actually make the playoffs off the back of their defense because their offense ain't got to be great. I mean, the Jets right now are what we were last year. Winning games off the back of their defense because they hold you down, so you hold the points down. They're exactly what we were last year. But you bring in a Bradley Chubb, it goes to a whole new level. Jets quarterback holding them back. And yet they 5-3. You see what I'm saying? And I agree. Their quarterback ain't no franchise quarterback, in my opinion, at least. Time will tell, but I don't believe in them. But yet they 5-3. You keep making the defense better, your quarterback ain't got to be perfect. And it push them into the playoffs. And that's what we don't want. Lucky y'all got Hill and not them. What do you mean by them? I don't know. Good morning, William. What's up, homie? What's more important, defensive line or DB? Bradley Chubb. What DB you going to get? Who getting rid of their DB at this point of the year that's good when you got a playoff run? And you're going to need to defend some of the best quarterbacks and weapons. Who getting rid of DBs right now? Who trading DBs right now that's great? That's playing at a high level right now? Please let me know. Who's trading them? What team trading their DBs right now? But it's interesting though. Because let me tell y'all why the Broncos there's multiple reasons why the Broncos could be doing this. What's the Broncos record right now? Y'all help me out. What's the Broncos record? Tyreek 2-team. He was choosing was y'all or Jets. Yeah, it was the state tax. That's a big ups for us. The Broncos 2-5. Y'all do realize they got to go undefeated for the rest of the season to make the playoffs. They pretty much got to go undefeated for the rest of the season to make the playoffs. They got 9 games left. 9 games left. And they got to go, well, in worst terms, they would have to go 8-1. They could lose one more game. And then that's a maybe get in. That ain't even guaranteed. And this is with Russell Wilson on a big contract. The Broncos already recognize if we ain't winning with Bradley Chubb and we on the hook for Russell all these years, then we might as well flip them for a few assets. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to try to take a first-round pick so that they can get the next Bradley Chubb so that they don't – I mean, it's instead of 20-something million because Bradley Chubb getting paid. That's what y'all got to understand. Bradley Chubb finna get paid. He's finna get paid. I see the 3-5. That's why I adjusted the number. He's finna get paid. So that's why Denver's listening to calls. They're like, we got a great player, but at the same token, if we can't win with him, it's the same situation with Lamar Jackson. We ain't gonna win no Super Bowl with no Lamar Jackson. That's what Baltimore's saying. We don't have enough. We don't have enough on offense. The defense keep getting banged up. So if we can't win on it with him making a few million a year, what make you think we gonna win if he making $50 million a year? He need to go to a team that's already established and got everything. I don't see if Ravens re-sign Lamar Jackson long term, it's simply because of money. It's simply because of popularity. It's simply to make the make the Ravens fans feel like, okay, thank you. No, see, Ravens fans ain't thinking big picture. Broncos should have went after Watson. Facts. Ravens ain't thinking big picture. Imagine if San Francisco got Watson instead of Trey Lance. Shaking my head. Listen, all of these quarterbacks, though, you go to a team that's ready, look at San Francisco's defense. Look at the Broncos' defense. Look at the Jets' defense. You insert an elite quarterback in any one of those three teams, and I've been told y'all Russell Wilson wasn't elite. Y'all the ones y'all got mad at me for the last several years. Been told y'all that. But you insert one of those mobile, fast quarterbacks that could throw the ball as well. Man, these teams are Super Bowl contenders. You got the defense, you got the weapons. Those guys belong on teams that are ready to win now. He wasn't elite. Russell Wilson was never elite. Y'all just believed he was because everything around him made it look easy. Everything around him was beneficial to him. I don't know why, like all y'all be saying things like give him a run game and some receivers. Y'all say things like that. Give him a run game and some receivers. 90% of the quarterbacks will look good with a run game and receivers. What make you elite is when you ain't got the run game and the receivers and you look good. Not great, not elite, but you look good. Really good. That's what makes you elite when you get everything. If you can look really good without anything around you, then when you get everything around you, you'll go up into that next echelon. You're an elite quarterback. No quarterback is elite without things around him. That's why there's levels to this. There ain't a single quarterback in the NFL that's elite without weapons around him. But there's levels to this. Some are really good. Some are just good. Some are above average. Some are average. Some are poor without everything around them. So you want the good and really good when they ain't got everything around them. For instance, and I know this is going to tee a lot of y'all off. You see what Justin Herbert doing right now? Go look at his stat line. Still on pace for 5,000 yards. Still on pace for 5,000 yards. O-line deteriorated. Defense ranked 28th. Missing his top weapon, but he's still getting W's and look good. I don't know why you say with no W's. He got a winning record right now this season with all of those things going on. With busted ribs. With busted ribs. And all I'll say is this. How he's playing right now is still better than somebody else for the last 2 years, and that's the point. That's the point. Hill posted on his IG story a pic of him and Hunt. I saw it. Man, if they can get that, man. But Kareem Hunt, which is more impactful, having a Kareem Hunt or Bradley Chubb? I'm sorry, I would have to go with Bradley Chubb. This offense already has enough. Herbert averaged 6.5 per attempt. Okay. Getting W's and still putting numbers up. I know y'all want to go Chubb, but I'm telling y'all, this offensive line ain't that great. See, we the type of team that as soon as we bring Chubb in, we be like, man, Chubb ain't doing it for us like that. Why isn't he? Not Chubb, Hunt. I'm talking about Kareem Hunt. But yeah, I would go Chubb. I don't know why I said Chubb. I'm going to talk about Kareem Hunt. We bring him in, we be like, he ain't, playing like, the guy we wanted. We need Bradley Chubb. This defense needs to be tightened up a little bit. No news on Liam yet. I'll give that. We'll have better news on Liam tomorrow, but it didn't look good. And that's another thing I'm worried about. If Liam, as bad as he was the starter, what you think our replacement going to be? What you think the replacement going to be? We going all in, baby. Let's let them make the moves first, because we know how this goes. They don't make the moves. It's okay. Because look, you bring in Bradley Chubb. Now I'm starting to, do we have a chance versus Buffalo now? Do it because if you ain't getting Josh Allen, rattling him and getting him off his point, I'm telling y'all, you ain't got no shot against Buffalo. Not healthy. And they still missing their all pro safety, and he'll be back soon. Some of them guys already came back. But the last piece, he on his way back. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care how good y'all think this offense is. TD, does today's offense beat Jets defense? I don't know. We got to see it. This is what people, and what do we mean by today's offense? Today's offense is the same offense we've seen all season. You just wasn't playing the 31st ranked defense. Why is that so hard for people to understand? Like, they want to discount that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, really, like, people act like that don't matter. People act like playing the number one defense versus the last ranked defense don't matter. People think that what they'll do to the 31st defense, they'll do to the number one defense. Absolutely makes no sense. Well, I know why that narrative is in place, but that's those delusionals. So we'll see. And we still got to see Tua play against the Jets. He wasn't the quarterback at that time. Let's see how he does versus the Jets. But I know one thing, they get Bradley Chubb. It's going to be tough. T. Rich said on a given week, it might not matter. I agree with that. Now, that's the one thing that I do agree with. That's why y'all need to stop inboxing me. Dak did this to the Lions and Tua did that. So now what? Any given week, the Lions can roll up and beat the Buffalo Bills next week. I don't know who they play, but I'm just saying, any given week, that's an element that goes underestimated as well. That can work to your benefit or your detriment. You can have a week versus a great team that makes you feel like you great, and then you lose the next 5 against the worst teams because you won that game against a great team because of any given week. It's no different from every year that I tell y'all Buffalo give one stinker against a trash team and they lose. TD, 50 miles per hour winds in Chicago on Sunday. 50 mile an hour. Is that what's being forecasted? I don't believe that, but if it is, that's crazy. Like, I don't know why my mind just now is crazy. Y'all gonna laugh at this, but in my brain, I was like, why I gotta be 50 miles per hour? Like, what sense does that make, weather? But it makes sense. Chicago, windy city, but gosh, 50 miles an hour? Oh man, that can't be right. It's the windy city, but where you see the forecast of 50 though, 50 miles an hour wind. And if it is 50 mile an hour wind, does it feel that way drop down in the stadium? Does the 50 come through in that stadium like that? And if it does come through, then it's going to be a running game. Maybe, I don't know. Or you got to go to the dink and dunk and put some extra force behind your throws in it. 52% chance of rain, I think what he meant. Nah, he might have meant wind. 17-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, and that still ain't great. Showers, 62 degrees and 17-mile-an-hour winds. That's still pretty unfavorable situation though. We ain't gonna, it don't matter. It don't matter. Listen, I keep telling y'all, I've been telling y'all this for 10 days now. We're going on a 3-game win streak, even though it's going to be 5. I'm just started with 3. We already knocked 2 of them out. 1 more to go. Knock those 3 out. Now you got who's after that? Because you're supposed to win all 5. We got to win all 5 games. We're 2 in, okay? 3 more to go technically. I just said I don't want to think too long term because injuries and all that can happen. So let's start with 3. But at this point, we only needed to win 5 games in a row. 2 of them already knocked down. The next 3, we're winning. I mean, we got the Browns, we got the Texans, and we got the Bears. It don't get easier than that. It don't get easier than that. Tua's going to throw for 1,000 yards combined in those 3 games. He going to have by 8 touchdowns combined in those 3 games. Maybe 2 or 3 picks. Hopefully he don't. Hopefully he keep because yesterday I was impressed by not really any turnover worthy plays. His ball placement was still a little off on some throws, but overall I think it was one of his greater games that he ever had. Fins make the playoffs. Please add a Samoan flag. LOL. Lord. Simba Samoa. Add a Samoan flag. Is that for representation of Tua or Samoans? But yet not enough though, huh, TD? What do you mean not enough, Monster Chill? Elaborate for me. What's not enough? Not my Browns, TD, LMAO. Yeah, G Fern. Listen, bro, Browns gonna lose. Not G Fern, G Money. The Browns gonna lose. The Dolphins will beat the Browns, they will beat the Bears, and they will beat the Texans. That's a given, bro. We're not losing these games because we can't afford to lose these games. We lose one of these games, and I already told y'all we ain't making the playoffs. I know many of us want to find that hard to believe. We lose one of these games, we're not making the playoffs. So get these 5, and we in. Get these 5, and we already 2-0 in these 5. So get these last 3, and we in. It's just my personal belief. Just my personal belief. If we don't get these 3, we ain't making it. But we will. Easy money. Bears, Browns, Texans. Easy money. I'm worried about the 49ers. They got that kind of defense, as you obviously see. The Chargers, I think we can beat them. It's just a matter of if their defense start getting their act back together. If they get their act together, because they spend all that money and then their defense still trash. The Bills, I just don't see any way that we beat them unless we have more injuries by them that pop up, or we go make multiple moves like Chubb, Hunt, and things like that. Packers, that's the game right there on Christmas Day that unfortunately, Dolphin fans, I think that's the game that we could lose and lose bad. I know everybody looking at the Packers offense, but it ain't because of the offense. It's their defense. Even last night, they had to go up against the juggernaut Buffalo Bills. Technically, that defense still did their job in the secondary. Everything Josh Allen and them had to do had to be tight and tight. It had to be tight. And Josh Allen and them did their job like they do. But that's the number 1 pass defense. This is why Josh Allen didn't even throw much last night, if you notice. They were running the ball a whole lot more last night, not because they could run the ball on them, but they had to more so. That secondary is legitimate in Green Bay. The number one secondary, and they hit hard, and everything is tight. Because everything Buffalo got was tight. That's the game right there that I'm worried about, because that's the game that has the Tennessee vibes. That's the game that you don't want to turn into Tennessee, especially after a potential loss to the Buffalo Bills. And it's at home. Green Bay will be on the road, but that's the game. Y'all circle that game, and hopefully we take care of business. But circle that game. TD, Herbert is 19-20. No, he's not 19-20. The Chargers are 19-20 when Herbert starts, but that's not indicative of him. That's not indicative of him. We're going to sit here and talk about a rookie that broke every rookie record just about. Go look at his record at the time. And we're going to talk about that's his record. Get out of here, man. No. You know when you own your record? Russell Wilson needs to own his record. When your defense holding other teams to freaking 14 points a game and you losing, you own your record. Not if you putting up 31 every game and you like let's be real. I ain't trying to throw no punches yesterday, but let's be honest. Jared Goff shouldn't own his record this year. That offense out there putting up 30 a week, and they 1-7, 1-6, or whatever they is. I don't know what they is. He shouldn't own his record. And y'all win losses is a QB stat. What did Jared Goff do yesterday? He had a good game, a really good game, if you ask me. We couldn't do nothing against them until they start finally getting penalties in the second half. It wasn't on him. They were making penalties. But I guess he trashed too, because his record is 1-6 this year. Get out of here, man. Y'all gonna hold on to that win. Listen, y'all gotta stop holding on to that win-loss record crap. It don't suit Tua well to do that. You actually give somebody a legitimate point to argue. Go off of the merits, maybe talk about his stats now. That's all the argument you need right now. TD, you a flip-flopper. I get called that 500 times a day, by ignorant people that don't even know what I flip-flop about. They can't even articulate what I flip-flop about. So ain't nothing new, Mario. You want to join get in line, Mario, for people to call me that. All right. 20-9, baby. I don't know what that is. Winning is all that matters, TD, in all reality. I agree. Winning is all that matters in the playoffs. See, if we're going to have a real conversation, winning is all that matters. In the playoffs, who cares about what you do in the regular season? I don't care if you win 17-0, you get bounced the first round, trash. That's the reality. What we here for? At the end of the day, what are we here for? You got to win in the playoffs and produce a trophy that you can hold high. And at a minimum, a conference trophy. I hear debating with people about regular season records when neither quarterback done been to the playoffs. Get out of here, man. Neither of them. You want to talk about quarterbacks that been to the playoffs? Let's bring up Jalen Hurts. It's sad. Mac Jones regressing big time, but he got more accomplished than Tua and Herbert. We ain't got to bring up Joe Burrow. We already know what they did. Tua is a true winner. Hey, ain't nobody care nothing about it. Tebow was a true winner. And at least he went to the playoffs in that year. At least he went to the first round and got bounced anyway. That's why he out of here. Only thing that matters is the playoffs. Y'all out here fooling yourself. Only thing matters is the playoffs. Only thing. Hurts 0-1 in the playoffs. And I agree. But his rookie year, he went there. He went there in his rookie year. At least he's accomplished more by getting there. Mac Jones and Jalen Hurts has already gotten there. This is the year Tua better get there. And when he get there, the expectation ain't a first-round exit. Let's get that straight now. The expectation is not a first-round exit. It's not at all. And I'll do you one better. Here's the real insult on our guy, Tua. It ain't like he didn't make the playoffs because he didn't have a chance. He actually had a game where it was in his hands both years, regardless of all the other games. He had a game where everybody basically looked at him and said, you win, you win. Twice, 2 years in a row. We all know what the result was. We all knew what the result was. What was it rookie year? Buffalo? What was it rookie year? Buffalo? When we got dog walked? What was it year 2? The Tennessee game? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. To an 80% completion percentage yesterday. That's really good. That ain't nothing new though. Tua done put 80% completion percentage games up before. That ain't the first time he had that. You ain't wrong, but man, we could have easily had 10 plus wins last year. You ain't wrong, but we could have easily had 8 less wins last year. I mean, it can go either way. What we would have, what we could have, ain't what happened. The only thing that matters is what happened. And what happened was Tua had an opportunity last year to get us into the playoffs. And I told y'all for 5 weeks coming into that game, I said, we're going to be all right, but that Tennessee game, that's going to be the one. I told y'all that. This ain't nothing new. Y'all know this to be a fact if you've been on this channel long enough. I sat there 5 weeks before the Tennessee game. I told y'all, we finna go on a win streak. We going to win all of them, but when we get to that Tennessee game, because they play the defense that Tua can't handle. Oh, you hating. Look what we doing. We winning. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. All right. You wouldn't hate. It was a fact. And then we ran in there and you saw it was a fact. But ain't nobody come back and be like, oh, TD, you were right. You know, you weren't hating. You were just speaking facts. See, this is why people mad at me, because I'm evaluating Tua, my evaluation ain't got to mean nothing to you, you know, and I ain't asking it to mean nothing to you. I'm just speaking. I'm a guy on camera telling you what I think. But I'm evaluating Tua. So if I'm evaluating somebody, right? Well, let me ask y'all this. If you're evaluating somebody, say you're the owner of a basketball team, right? And you got a player that you trying to figure out, should I give him a max contract or should I trade him, right? And you're saying to yourself, well, he's the best at attacking the rim. I mean, he's so great. And the equivalence is Tua throwing against zone defense. He's so great at that. We already know this. He struggles at the three-point line. And he also struggles in the mid-range. Just hypothetically say that, right? And when you're evaluating him in the news, this is the last season I'm going to evaluate this basketball player. Game 1, he attacks the basket 50 times and get all 50 of them. In your evaluation, does that tell you anything more than you already know? Did you get something that said, hey, now I know I got my guy? No, because you already knew that. You're waiting on that team that's good in the paint, that's going to force him to take jumpers and outside perimeter shots so you can evaluate his play then and only then. It's that simple. Same thing with Tua. Have I not been screaming for 2 years straight from training camp? Training camp is the biggest area. Tua killing them in the zone. For 2 years straight, I've said that. Any team that plays zone defense against us, Tua is going to murder them. Yes or no in the comment section. Have I not said that the last 2 years, ever since training camp, both years? Yes or no in the comment section. If teams play zone against Tua, he is going to absolutely murder them. Have I not said that? Yes or no in the comment section? For those who've been on the channel long enough, yes or no? Have I not said that? You play zone against Tua, he is going to rip you to shreds. That's all I've said for 2 years. This ain't no flip-flop. This is what I've been saying. So then I see the game yesterday, and now let me say this about yesterday though. Let me say this about yesterday. I got to give the kid some props. He already did what I know he could do, but I'm sorry. He did do it at a higher level yesterday though. The stuff I already know he does well, he actually did better yesterday. So there is a little bit of evaluation that goes into it. I already know he great at zone, but he actually was phenomenal in it yesterday. You see, so I want to make sure y'all understand that. He was phenomenal in it yesterday, okay? Now, but at the end of the day, it doesn't tell me, like, it doesn't change what I need to see. And there's only a handful of teams that can give you what you need to see to evaluate him. That's not his fault. But I'm waiting on those games with a functional defense that's actually healthy to be able to give that ultimate evaluation. It's that simple. I'm waiting on Tua to be great. I'm waiting on him to be put in that situation like Tennessee and just thrive this time so I could say, ladies and gentlemen, he has officially arrived. That's all. I'm just waiting on it. But I gotta make sure the right test is proctored first. I can't give you nothing, but I can't grade you off for straight layups to the basket what I already know you do well. Now, here's the flip side of it. Here's what's frustrating with Tua, right? Watch this. I want to use the same basketball analogy. So you struggle in the in shooting from 3-point, and you struggle in mid-range, but you're excellent with at the rim, right? But now this year it's flipped. Now you're trash with layups and at the rim, but you're one of the best in the league in the mid-range, but you still suck at a 3-pointer, which is against man coverage in this analogy. Like, you flipped it. You were bad in you see what I mean? And that's Tua right now. Tua was that's Tua all the way. Tua against man coverage I needed to see, and I needed to see Tua in the intermediate because he already great in the short. Now he bad in the short, great in the intermediate, and you still ain't good against man coverage. So you done flip 2 categories and still not good at man coverage. So it's like, man, come on, man, put it together. Gosh, this is weird. So that's why I'm evaluating Tua, and I believe that there are. Let me tell you, my real heavyweight for Tua Tagovailoa is the last 6 games of this season. If you want to evaluate Tua, and that includes the Jets and the Patriots, they division games, you want to have a real evaluation of Tua, it is going to happen in the last 6 games of this season. You can wipe your slate clean because you're going to get a mix of all of it. You're going to get zone teams, but they play zone good. You're going to get man teams, and they play man good. You're going to, in the last 6 games, with the exception of the Chargers, unless they get their act together because they defense trash. So that's the only exception. But the last 6 games is going to be huge evaluating Tua. And he got to come out of those games with wins. He got to come out of those games with wins. And what do I look for? Because right now we're 5-3. We'll win the next 3, so that makes us 8-3. That's 11, and that's the last 6 games left. So all we would need Tua to do is go 3-3, 500 in the last 6. All we would need for him to do is go 3-3, which is 500 in the last 6. Now, from an evaluation standpoint, and that's just playoffs. From an evaluation standpoint, Tua need to go 4-2 in that stretch. He needs to go 4-2. You go 4-2 in that stretch, and you end our season with 12 wins. You got to give him his respect. Nothing but it. Because those last 6 games, nobody asked you to be 6-0. It'd be nice. Hell, you the GOAT. I mean, listen, I told y'all. Hey, it's certain things. If he do, then hey, boy, I'm telling you, I'm ready. Because he goes 6-0 in them last 6. And especially if Buffalo healthy, San Francisco healthy, and all of those teams like that. Listen, man, ain't no reason why we're not winning the Super Bowl. Nothing. Mario said my stats on Tua dead wrong. Ain't nothing about them, but you're not telling me which ones. So y'all do me a favor. If you want to have an intelligent conversation versus just fly on the wall comments, elaborate. TD, your stats on Tua are wrong. You said this. This is what it actually is. Easy. That way I can either say, I never said that, or I can prove you wrong, or I can acknowledge you being right. But just these general comments. TD, you're wrong about Tua, about his yards or his blah. What does that mean? What does that mean? TD, you said he's worse at the deep ball. Man, listen. In my opinion, I ain't one of these people that get caught up in the fool's gold. I don't get caught up in fool's gold. Still to this day, we got 4 deep balls in his entire career in stride on the money. Everything else, whether it was caught or not, underthrown, turnover worthy. It missed me with all of that. Or wide open. Where they still had to slow down to catch it. Get out of here, man. Check the link, TD. What link? Check the link. I'm not seeing a link in the comment section, and I don't think I will because my comment section doesn't allow links. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm trying to catch the chat up just in case I shockingly see a link. Only link that's allowed is the ones I drop. Here's the link, TD. Again. Unless y'all know something I don't know. What link are they talking about? Trying to respond, but I'm not understanding what you're saying. If you like Tannehill, you like to wear gold-plated chains. LOL. I don't know what that means. Gesicki for Chubb. Not a fair exchange. You got to give up more than Gesicki. You missed my super chat. I'm so sorry. Let me see. Oh, there it is. All right, TD, thoughts on how penalized we are as a team? That's Mike McDaniel's responsibility, but I will say this. I'm going to give Mike McDaniels a little bit of a pass, even though it's atrocious. That is a bad look on him, how undisciplined they are. But I saw a clip this morning that made me feel better about Mike. When Christian Wilkins got one, I believe it was Christian Wilkins. He went over and looked at the defensive line coach or the coordinator, one of them, and said, clean that. He cursed them out or something. He basically said a few curse words like clean that up, like, and walked off on them. He was looking crazy, like, what the? Clean up, and walked off on them. So at least he cares. And he's getting on his coaches. All right. So any news on the Bradley Chubb trade? Listen, man, the Dolphins and the Jets are out here talking about first round picks. and bidding. The Jets probably will have a better first round pick than us because San Francisco will go to the playoffs. And as you can see, when everybody count them out, they still go far. We talk about a Super Bowl and a championship round run. So that's going to be a low first round pick. So we'll see. Y'all hit that like button, by the way. We got 540 people watching, and we only have 166 likes. Hit that like button. Eagles are the 2020 Steelers. Nobody's scared of that undefeated record. I hope so. I hope somebody take them down. I don't want them to be like the Eagles that won a Super Bowl because they look like they primed to be that again. Barely beating a team like the Lions, and we think we are Super Bowl bound. I know how to temper expectations, but at the same token, the Lions did come out and execute very well early on in that game. The good thing is we were able to climb out of a hole and take the lead and hold on to it. So that's a great sign from us. Yeah, we shouldn't have been down, but at the end of the day, we corrected it. So there's still a lot to be happy about. But when you play the best teams in the league, you can't go down like that because they're not going to have 0 points in the second half. So, yeah. Eagles barely beat the Lions. Again, I already told y'all you can't compare one team to another playing that team. You can't. When the Eagles played them, they also had their starting star safety. When the Eagles played them, it was what, the first game of the season or something like that? I think it was the first game of the season. I don't know. It was early. Hurts versus Tua Super Bowl. That would be sweet. Just for us to be there. That'll be sweet. Lions can put up points. They will keep games close. I told y'all all week. Lions scoring. It's just a matter of a shootout. Can we keep up? And ain't no way we losing this game because their defense is so horrific. Y'all see this thing. Y'all act surprised after the game when I say the same thing I've been saying all week. For 7 days straight, I sat on this channel and said, ain't no way we lose to the Lions. This probably going to be one of Tua's best games of his career. They a primary zone team, and their defense absolutely sucks. They put up 30 points a game, and they 1-6. How else can you explain that? Say that. Think about that. They put up almost 30 points a game and 1-6. How else do you explain that? I said that for 7 days straight. Oh no, TD. You know this and that. I said it for 7 days straight. And as soon as we go out there and do it, I say it one more time, and all of a sudden I'm a hater. You trying to diminish a win. Some of y'all just need to understand football. You can see things before they happen a lot of times. Don't mean it's going to end up that way. It could have been a total difference. I mean, we could have beat them 50-0, but they could have beat us 50-0. You don't know what's going to happen. But just conventional wisdom, we're about to destroy them. They defense absolutely suck. I mean, they probably having nightmares before the game thinking about Tyreek and Waddle. There was no way we were going to lose that game. We were down by 14 on the stream, and I said, y'all, we're not going to lose. Trust me. I'm from Philly. They look like they did Super Bowl year. Yeah. I think they matching their Super Bowl roster. That's why I don't worry about my haters, man, because I can't win anyway. I spent 7 days saying the one thing, and when we go do what I said, I just repeated it one time. I told y'all this was going to happen. Why y'all acting surprised or blowing it out of proportion? And I'm a hater. Y'all listen, that's why it's easy to account for my haters. Because they the ones that's trying to make it seem like I'm diminishing something. I've been telling y'all this. I told you we're going to win 5 in a row, but let's just start with 3 because we should. This team is more talented than the next 5 teams. Well, now 3 teams. And I told you Tyreek going to get all the yards he want. I'm worried about Waddle, so I'm shocked that he had a good game because I'm worried about Waddle. So he did well. I didn't see that coming. And Tua's going to be able to get his numbers up. He going to be, and I even told y'all the Tua year is going to be on an all-time high, just like last year before the Tennessee game. And I don't know if we're going to have a Tennessee game this year, but what I do know, them last 6 games, that's where I want to see my quarterback thrive the most. Play like he doing against these weak teams. No. You ain't got to play like this you doing against the weak teams. You just got to play well enough to continue to get them W's, right? Regardless if the defense let up or not. And you're headed to being a franchise guy. Last 6 games of the season. Tua was a B+, A- yesterday. Nah. I would have to put Tua at a A flat. So he better than a B+ and an A-. I have to put him at an A. An A. Ball placement still had areas of opportunity. Outside of that, I just loved his game. He was a solid A. Solid A. In large part, you did what you were supposed to do against that defense. Because some quarterbacks won't do that, what they're supposed to do against that defense. And stop bringing up Dak Prescott to me. Last week, Dak Prescott only put up 2 jump and this and that. He struggled with that defense. That was without their star safety, who didn't play this week. 2 days before the game, they said he won't be able to play. And on top of that, if y'all want to walk around here and use that Tua was rusty last week narrative, then why Dak wouldn't rusty all of a sudden against the Lions? His first game back after sitting forever. Why wouldn't he rusty then? And I don't give nobody the rusty category. Dak just struggled against them. But Dak then went out and put 49 up against the Bears. Who we got this week? The Bears. Let's go. Let's go. Give me 35. I ain't asking you to be 49, but give me 35. Dak done went out and put 49 up against the Bears. Just give me 35. Let's go. Let's get this dub. Put up 35. Let's get up out of there. TD, I want to hear if you agree with me or disagree. Keep Gesicki as our big receiver. I disagree because they're not even using him as our big receiver. They don't flex him out. I get nervous in the red zone a lot of times. And I'm going to be honest with you. Teams, they could actually shut us down in the red zone if they actually sent pressure. Every time we score a red zone touchdown, we literally have to do it from extending the play. Notice Tua, back to pass, nothing there. And he got to roll to the right or roll to the left and look at the last guy he see. The last guy he see. Every time we score a touchdown in the red zone, it is rare. Like last year, we were amazing. But now we can't. And let me tell you why. In this lie, this whole lie that Tua went through his progressions and he found it's a lie. On that play where Waddle caught the touchdown in the back of the end zone, it wasn't going through no freaking progressions. It was short and sweet and simple. It was hike the ball, get the ball to Tyreek. He looked over there. Oh, and good job not throwing it, trying to force it. They double teamed Tyreek. And the first person he seen when he moved his head was Waddle, and he hit him. It was that simple. It was that simple. So listen, man, we in the red zone, and again, even on that Tyreek, when he looked, it wasn't there. He won, then he had to move. And they gave him time. And that's the good thing. Our O-line is giving Tua a lot of time on a lot of these big plays. And that's the beautiful thing. And they're going to have to continue to do that if we're going to be winning games. They're going to have to. Still a progression. Okay, it was a progression. It was a second progression. Okay. That's not my issue with Tua. My issue with Tua is reading defenses. Because he's just going to throw the ball regardless of what they in. Armstead kept the rookie off Tua. He was amazing. That's true. That guy was working hard too against Armstead, but Armstead didn't let up. I was watching that battle the whole game. Armstead did a heck of a job not letting that guy get to him. A heck of a job. Tua's PFF grades just came out. The best grade for a QB the entire season, and the best score since Aaron Rodgers in 2020. I mean, I expected that. It was almost like a flawless day. William Monday said, I got mad love and respect for you, TD, but you were talking about Tua like Skip Bayless, talking LeBron James. Maybe, because I think LeBron James is a fraud too, so I get it. I got respect for you though, bro. So obviously, you don't like how you talk about LeBron James either. But I give LeBron credit for being, maybe the third best player in NBA history. Yeah, third. I give him third. And that's a debate. He could be a little lower, but I give him third. He's still a great player. Still one of the greatest. He's on Mount Rushmore. Okay, so we ain't got a debate. He's on the Mount. Go get Tunsil back and beef up that mediocre O-line. Where Tunsil going to play? Are you going to put him at left guard like his rookie year? Wow, I'm thinking Jordan is the GOAT, but really? Yeah, Jordan definitely the GOAT. No question. A fraud. Third, yeah. I don't put LeBron above Kobe. He had that killer instinct. And the only thing he was better at than Kobe is his body. Kobe can't control that. That's the only thing he was better than Kobe in is his body. He can't control that. It's that simple. LeBron's body allows him to be the dominant player he is. I personally don't feel like LeBron would be half the player he is if his body stature was Jordan's or Kobe's. No. And he would have still been great, but he wouldn't have been he wouldn't have been that great. He wouldn't have been that great. Okay, maybe. I don't know. No, he wouldn't have. Because he ain't got no signature move. He ain't no mid-range shooter. He ain't no three-point shooter. He like I said, he ain't got no signature move. He ain't got all the footwork and the moves and all of that you need. He ain't the pump fake, the under. He ain't got none of that. He's just a bulldozer. That's the truth. He's just a bulldozer. So no, he wouldn't have. And he was blessed with the body that allowed him to be one of the greats of all time. I can't take that away from him. That's a good thing. Same thing in football. There's some guys that so physically. Derrick Henry, he's blessed. I mean, it ain't nothing flashy with Derrick Henry. Ain't no flashy cutter and all that. Derrick Henry is patient. He sees the hole and he go through it and he uses his strength. It's that simple. He ain't one of these freaking Jonathan Taylors or nothing like that. It's his physicality that allows him to be as great as he is, and that's using the blessing that God gave you. So I'm not taking away from it, but I am recognizing. So at the end of the day, Kobe better. He just wasn't blessed with that type of body. It's that simple. So I got Jordan, Kobe, then LeBron. Truth be told, I put Iverson above LeBron, but the body, LeBron is above Iverson because he did way more, accomplished way more, and it is what it is. Just saying. Iverson just wasn't the defense. So that hurts him. So it is what it is. Anyway, all right. Bron, he stole that from MJ. Stole what? Right? Stop it. No weakness in his game. Yeah, I didn't say, well, stop that now. Don't sit here and make it seem like LeBron don't have no weakness in his game, career-wise. Maybe he's fine-tuned a lot of things now, but I don't care what nobody say. LeBron James has never been a great shooter, intermediate nor deep. Oh, man, I missed that comment. Let me see. Tua played well, but beating the Lions. Dang, it's gone. Let me see if I can find it again. I hate when I miss a super chat. Give me a second, y'all. I got to go back and find this super chat. I tried to read it and it disappeared on me. I clicked the button too soon. G Money said, I got AI over Bron. I was just about to say that. Yeah. But anyway, let me rewind this playback over here. Okay, Tua played well, but beating the Lions with the most talented supporting cast in the NFL does not make a QB worth $40 million per year. I think anybody who knows the game of football knows that. What it is. I mean, we need to stop these petty games. Well, look at me. Who am I to say stop the petty games? I'm one of the main people playing them. The reality is, it's really the people who are playing petty games that's doing all of this. One side is trying to make Tua out that yesterday showed that he's the MVP, which is ridiculous. And the other side trying to show it was the Lions. I mean, it's just a battle. That's all it is. At the end of the day, the kid played great football. He did his job and did it well, exceeded expectations in doing so, regardless of the team, regardless that it was the Lions. He came out and he helped his team win the game. He had an almost flawless game. He had a game that if he had one of those against a great defense, I would be saying that he the GOAT. I would be saying that he's arrived. Ain't nobody going to be able to touch him. And honestly, that's all I'm waiting on. I don't get all up and crazy about yesterday's game. I give them the props where they're due, but I'm waiting on one of those when a Buffalo is healthy and you got to go mano-a-mano with the juggernaut. Who comes out on top? I'm waiting on one of those. So when I get one of those, because there's always this contextual story. It's almost, I ain't trying to say Tua lucky, but the kid lucky. He lucky with interceptions. He lucky with the situation. We catch Baltimore early in the season when you know they're going to be full strength and they still wasn't full strength. Whole secondary banged up. Then you catch Buffalo at the beginning of the season knowing they're going to be full strength and 4 guys, 2 of them all pros, and they secondary didn't even play. And that's why I was excited about the beginning. Yes, we get to see how good Tua really is. Soon as I found out they weren't paying, I was like, man, whatever happened, it is what it is. I want to see full strength versus full strength. You know why? Because I don't want to be surprised later. Because the Miami Dolphins surprise you every year. They give you 6-game win streak, 7-game win streak, 4-game win streak, and then they get smacked in their face with real competition. It's the same thing with the freaking Patriots last year that I was saying on the round table. I said the Patriots, yeah, you went to the playoffs, but you didn't even play a playoff team. And the 3 playoff teams that you played, they were hurt at the time. Baltimore was depleted. The other teams were depleted. So when you go into the playoffs, you're going to get smacked in your mouth. And what did they do? Went into the playoffs and got smacked in their mouth. And then William Blacklit says this. I'm not going to read the whole comment. I'm just going to read the first sentence. Dude, TD, you can't be satisfied, can you? I just told you what would satisfy me. Why is that so hard for some of y'all? Were y'all satisfied at the end of last season? Yes or no in the comment section. Were you satisfied at the end of last season? Were you satisfied at the end of 2 seasons ago when we won 10 games? We were 1 game out of the playoffs both seasons. Yes or no in the comment section. Were you satisfied? Were you satisfied? We got 500 people watching. Tell me, were you satisfied at the end of both of the last 2 seasons? Were you satisfied? Yes, with the season with 7 wins in a row. When that last game was over, were you satisfied? So just because I wasn't satisfied in week 2, week 8, week 11, week 16, just because I wasn't satisfied then, you end up getting on the same boat at the end of the day. Don't get mad at me because I could see it early. You weren't satisfied either. Your team shows you behaviors all year that can tell you whether they're the real deal or not. And who are we kidding? Let's go back to the 7-game win streak last year. Can you tell me who we played that was impressive? Who did we play that was impressive? Who did we play last year in that 7-game win streak that was impressive? The beat up Ravens that finished the season going 1-7? For real? The Ravens that were injury depleted? That's your saving grace? The team that held us to 16 points or something like that? I don't know. It was low. Who did you play? And we going through the same thing right now. You're going through all the scrubs and y'all think that that's a revelation. Y'all did the same thing to me last year when we were going through our win streak, and I told you it was going to be a win streak. I said, if we lose these games, it don't make no sense. Ravens depleted. It's going to be a battle, but we'll win that game too. I told you all those games last year, we're going to go on a win streak, but when we get to Tennessee, you're going to get slapped in our mouth. You're right. You need to tell these people. Yeah, man. And listen, this year is different than last year. This year, we got a chance against the good teams if our quarterback plays great football. So I'm not counting him out. We got the roster that can compete now. Last year, I knew we wasn't going to do nothing. It wasn't just Tua's fault. It wasn't just Tua's fault. It was multiple situations. And I ain't talking about just the O-line either. The problem is we just wanted to put it on the O-line. It was multiple issues last year. O-line, receivers, Tua, coaching moments. And now this year it's different because we got the personnel now that can compete with other teams that's good. But will our quarterback play great at the end of the season when it matters most? Those last 6 games. Will our rookie coach be able to handle that gauntlet? Will we get disciplined with the penalties? Will our O-line play well against great competition? This year is different. We actually have a chance this year. Last year, I knew what was going to happen. And I told you on the live stream, oh, you negative. You'll see. Well, they telling you we ain't nothing. Last year, if you ain't see it coming, then you just didn't want to. This year, we have a chance this year. Not saying we're going to do it, but we got a chance. And it's all going to depend on them last 6 games. It's all going to depend on the last 6 games. You should beat the Jets and you should beat the Patriots. And you should beat the Chargers. Them other 3 games, they're going to be tough. But the problem that scares me is you'll need to do exactly that to make the playoffs. But the part that worries me is between the Jets, between the Patriots, between the Chargers, and between the Bears, and between the Texans, and the Browns, those 6 games, you should win all 6, but you lose 1, you're in trouble. That's the only thing that concerns me. You lose 1, you're in trouble. And we shouldn't. We're a better team than every single one of them. At first, you were saying it's all on the first 4 games. You never satisfied. And Ronald, it's called paying attention. I literally 3 minutes ago explained to you. I literally said this 3 minutes ago, bro. I said, at first, we thought at the beginning of the season that was going to tell us everything. I was excited. You remember me saying that 3 minutes ago? I was excited to see Tua at the beginning of the season. You got the Patriots, you got Baltimore, you got Buffalo, you got Cincinnati, you got and I ain't go to the Jets. I said I was excited. But I didn't, because I knew getting Baltimore early, they're going to be healthy. They weren't healthy, shockingly, early in the secondary. Getting Buffalo early, they're going to be healthy. You really get to evaluate Tua. They weren't healthy. Their whole secondary was actually gone. I just said that 3 minutes ago. If they were completely healthy secondaries and we did what we did, all day. Let me ask y'all a question. I got to ask y'all this too. If Xavier Howard and Byron Jones never played a game this season, if both of them never played a game this season, will we at least have one more loss? I'm just curious. Especially the last 2 weeks. X locked them down last week, and he did a great job this week. But will we at least have one more loss? If X didn't play the entire time, we already know Byron out. If X didn't play the entire time, will we have at least one more loss? And most of y'all saying yes. So I'm just supposed to ignore Baltimore and Buffalo missing three players in Baltimore hurt and 4 in Buffalo starters, 2 of them all pro. I'm just supposed to not think that mattered. We got the win. The win is a win. But looking to the future, when we play them again and those guys healthy, I'm supposed to use the same evaluation. Oh, we beat them before. We should beat them again. I'm just supposed to say, look here, we beat them before. It's the same team, and it ain't the same team. So if you could recognize if X didn't play every game, we might at least have one more loss. And you got Buffalo when we played them without 4 guys in the secondary starters. 2 of them all pro. I'm just supposed to stop. Common sense. Stop getting mad at me because I'm using it. You ain't never satisfied. Stop getting mad at me because I'm using common sense. It's just common sense. And here's the hypocrisy of it. But it's okay for y'all to use that narrative with Tua. We would have won them games if Tua played. Like, gosh, like, y'all could use that with Tua, but we can't say that about Baltimore and Buffalo. Makes no sense. TD, you are breaking the illusion they live in. No, I ain't. These people don't do nothing but help me create content because they give me something to disprove. They allow me to have stuff to disprove. And you're not saying that about us. I'm not saying what about us. I'm not saying what about us. QB is more important. Okay. QB more important. I actually agree with that. QB is more important. Still don't change the fact that the secondary has an impact. It still don't change the fact that they have an impact. And here's what's crazy. Out of all of this, we're talking about, especially the Minnesota game, we're talking about 400 yards of offense that the quarterbacks that replaced put up. And it wasn't really their fault of the turnovers. Waddle had 2 himself. If we would have had 2 turnovers yesterday, we would have lost that game. Luckily, we escaped with 1. Matter of fact, it was shaping up to be the exact Minnesota game. The only thing it was missing was that next turnover. Waddle blew 2 in that Minnesota game. Sanders blew 1 in this one. TD, you overly hard on Dolphins because you're a fan, man. I get it. Exactly. It's hard for people to understand you ain't hating, just hard on the team you love. I actually like, this is the new me though. This is 3 years fresh. It started whenever right before we drafted Tua. People want to think that it's because of Tua, but it's actually started before we drafted Tua. It started back in February before we drafted Tua, before we even knew he was going to be a Dolphin. I had to stop. I had to stop the delusion. This team found new ways every time to fool you. And when you go back to every year, everybody got a million reasons why we ain't successful. A million reasons why. It's the coach. It's the lack of run game. It's the lack of cornerbacks. It's the lack of an O-line. It's the lack of a quarterback. Ain't no position has ever been exempt. There ain't a single position on this team that ain't been exempt for the last 20 years on the reason why we didn't do well in the season. There ain't been a single fragment in the organization that ain't been yelled at for the blame. We all just throw blame on a wall at the end of the season and not evaluate what really is going on. That's why I evaluate the details of this team, the ins and outs of this team. And I go over with y'all and I tell y'all what the true state of the team is. And just because it don't look good, it's the truth. And you can't tell me I'm lying about any part of this. Your quarterback is still sitting here. We don't know what he is. He ain't no bum. He showed you already that he's good enough to be a starter in this league, but he has not proven to be a franchise quarterback. Our backup quarterbacks, we don't know about them either. Even though Teddy ain't the future, we don't know nothing about Skyler other than he came in one quarter and lit it up, and in that Jets game, he looked like a bum, but let's blame it on Russ, like we did with Tua, right? And then your running back core, we can never be satisfied. We done had a game and a half of good running, and we were straight trash for 4 games in running the ball. We have one good game running the ball, and we talk about, oh, we found our running back. Now we back to being up and down. We still don't have a dominant run game like Mike McDaniel was brought in to do. They still ain't dominant. There's still time, but I'm just pointing out where we are as of right now as an organization. The highlight of this team is the wide receiving core. The problem is they're top heavy. It's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Gesicki freaking get 1 or 2 catches a game, which is ridiculous. It should be 4 to 6. The Sherfield, the last 2 games, the first time you heard his name all season, trust me, he'll start disappearing after these next 2 games. And you heard it, and this is the best game he just had. And that was because you were playing the Lions. Sanders, why did you even bring him up? Why you ain't giving Ezukama a chance? Craig Kraft, is he still on the roster? Is he hurt? I don't even know. Maybe he got hurt a few weeks ago, and that's why I don't remember. It's top heavy, and it's that simple. Offensive line, Teron Armstead and Connor Williams and Robert Hunt, who we already knew were good, but Teron Armstead and Connor Williams showing you what the money buys you, not coaching development. Because Eichenberg's still terrible. Outside of yesterday, I thought he was playing his best game of his career until he got hurt, which that may set him back. We sit here relying on Austin Jackson to come back and be the savior when he ain't never been good outside of his rookie year before he got hurt. And that's your offense in a nutshell, because your other tight ends, one of them hurt, the other one's Hunter Long, whoever that was, still missed that pass that could have helped us win that game. That's still beyond me. But that is your offense in a nutshell. Mike McDaniel playing heroic football. When it works, it's all good. And when it don't work, oh my gosh, what is he doing? He's trash. He's terrible. No. Call it how it is. You either going to love the ridiculous calls or you going to hate them. Just don't be in the middle. Don't like them when they work and then hate them when they don't. That's the state of your offense. Now, shall we go to the defense? Byron Jones sitting there with his feet up. The only way you're going to get Byron Jones on this field, in my opinion, is if we make some moves that make him feel like, yeah, we might make a Super Bowl run. Let me go ahead and get out there and get my stock up. Because otherwise, there ain't no need to go out there and embarrass myself, because this is going to be my last big contract that I could get on another team. And it ain't even going to be big. It's going to be respectable. So he's sitting out on the sideline playing a Will Fuller role. Xavier Howard done got toasted every week this season except the last 2 weeks. Thank God. So hopefully he keep this up, but he ain't getting turnovers no more. Javon Holland ain't in the system that suits him best. Still playing great football, but he ain't at the level that you need him to be at because we can't run the system we want. Brandon Jones, done for the season. He was the bright spot. He was actually, his stock was growing on me. His stock was getting a little higher. Then he freaking get hurt like that, and that can affect his future. You don't know how he gonna come back. Eric Rowe, healthy scratch. Hopefully it's because of a trade, and if not, would you like McKinney better? I don't know what's going on there. Kohu, all these other names, Croson and all of these guys, okay, we love them now until they play Buffalo and we get scorched. And if they hold their own end, then we'll applaud them. I ain't talking about the linebacking core. It raises my blood pressure. So we're going to skip them. Defensive line, the defensive ends can't get an organic pass rush to save their life. Ogbah, where is he? Is he still even on the team? Jalen Phillips was non-existent except the last 2 weeks, just like Xavier Howard. I've seen the pressure Phillips has been putting on the last 2 weeks. That's how he was supposed to be from the get-go. And we need more than what he's doing now anyway. That still ain't good enough. Zeeler has regressed a little, but who he is, he's still playing great football for where he was drafted and the money he's getting. Christian Wilkins, he was getting embarrassed early in the season. As of late, he backed the balling out. I'll give him that. In my opinion, I don't know how y'all think, but Christian Wilkins backed the balling right now. He backed the balling at least 3.5 weeks worth or something like that. Now, it ain't the 2 games like X and Jalen. He's back to putting. He playing. Raekwon Davis, he heard every 30 plays, but at least he come back. So I don't know. Where else are we? Now, I done said all that. Can you tell me the lie? Can you tell me the lie in any of that? They need to stop using Phillips in coverage. I know, but that's what they brought him in for because he has the speed, but he got to get better. But can you tell me where the lie is in anything that I just said? That's what I want to hear from people. Can you tell me where is the lie in everything I just said? Oh, thank you. Thank you. It ain't a lie, but you're right. I cannot neglect inconsistent Jason Sanders, who was one of my favorites, who I raved for. Jason Sanders, I put him in one of my little songs. Jason Sanders kicking with a foot fetish and all of that crazy stuff. He's so inconsistent. Tell me what a lie is. Tell me what a lie is. The lie is X getting toasted. Did you not watch those first 5 games? What are you talking about? The X is one of the lowest rated corners in PFF for the first 5 weeks. I ain't look at his PFF now because the last 2 weeks definitely should have helped him. But he one of the lowest rated corners on PFF in the first 5 weeks. And it's evident when you watch the game. You know how many people done beat X early this season? And it ain't even close. It ain't even close. But where's the lie? Where's the lie? I'm going to do you one better. I'm about to drop the link. I'm about to drop the link. I'm about to drop the link, man. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm about to drop the link. Y'all give me 3 minutes because I'm going to go fill my cup with ice and stuff. I'm going to drop the link, let the countdown go for 3 minutes. When I get back, whoever backstage, let's talk. Let's talk. All right, the link has been dropped. Give me a second. Let me pin it to the comment section. And it's a brief intermission. If you want to come in here and get in on this conversation, let's go.
On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the open panel session of the show. We are about to let some of the people that are backstage in have the conversation. While we're having this conversation, we're going to make this clean today. We're going to try to make this one of the cleanest shows that we possibly have, because a lot of times it's chaos when a lot of people are on the screen together, arguing, fussing, and X, Y, and Z. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to have multiple people on the stream, maybe about 4 to 6 at a time instead of 10. But we're going to make sure we're respectful. I'm going to try to be the I guess the mediator, plus I'm discussing myself anyway. But we're gonna hear everybody out. We're not gonna cut them off because we disagree. We're not gonna be disrespectful. Let's have some real good football talk. Good debate too. Back and forth. But let's just try to have a good conversation versus one of those, dog out fights like spaces and all of that stuff, and the usual. Let's have a clean conversation. All right, without further ado, I go in order. I do not I do discriminate. If you're on camera, most of the time I usually try to go with those individuals first, but I try to get it go in order, and I will start off in order this time, and then I'll start bringing some others in as well. All right. But first and foremost, we got Skull Snapper. What's going on, homie?
What's going on?
I'm great, man. What's on your mind? What you thinking about?
I'm thinking about a lot. I'm a little bit of me is up and down about.
Forgive me for cutting you off, bro, but I got to say this too. Let's try to refrain from profanity. There are a lot of grown people that enjoy this show with their children, and I try to honor that, and like I've always told people, on this show, you can say what you want, do what you want after about 11 p.m. when we had those late night ones, but usually during the day, let's make sure that we try to refrain from profanity. Slip ups ain't a big deal, but y'all know the blatant just, y'all know what I'm saying. All right, my bad. I'm so sorry for that. Hey, I like that shirt, man.
You see what I mean, right?
Woo, I love it. I love it, man. Talk to me, homie.
No, what I was actually thinking about was Tua. I just feel up and down about Tua sometimes. He did have a great game last week or yesterday. I'm not even gonna hold nothing against him or say he didn't have a good game. But like you say, like you always say, it was versus zone. If we're playing zone, he looks amazing. If we're not playing zone, if we're playing man-to-man, bump and run, organic pressure with linebackers falling back, he's not as great as two and years make it out to be. And is he our franchise guy? I don't know. Is Chris Greer gonna do a changer here or there or find somebody like he's been doing behind his back? I mean, who knows? But it's still up in the air with Tua. And then I feel like the rest of the team kind of plays up to his mediocrity. Like our defense, when Mike McDaniels got in their behinds, they started playing D. And that's when the game last night or yesterday changed. Or else we would still be down 2 tutties. Think about it. Until Mike McDaniels got in their behinds, we would have been still down 2 tutties. Because Goff was just coming up the field, no problem.
So let me ask you this. So first, I want to backtrack a little, and I'm about to bring you in, Big Mike, and I'm going to be bringing people on. So as me and Skull Snapper have a conversation, I may bring people on like this, but me and Skull still having a talk, all right? But real quick, let me ask you, Skull. I got to so one thing I do, I push back either way, okay? Because I try to understand where people are coming from. So I push back whether you're pro or net or the opposite, right? Okay. So first I want to start by saying, asking you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in Tua being a franchise quarterback if all he needs to be is an 8?
Wow.
His play.
That's a tough question because I don't trust his play until he got Tyreek. I didn't really trust his play until he got Tyreek. So you trust his play now, though? Yes.
Okay. So what do you love about his play now?
I love that if they have to go zone, which most teams should versus Tyreek and Waddle, we have a good chance of scoring on that drive. If they have to go zone. But if they have to go bump, if they can, let's just say, because not every NFL team can go bump and run all night versus us. If they can go man, we're in trouble. But if they have to slide in zone there, I feel like we have a great chance to score.
Now, why are you saying that we're in trouble? We don't have a large enough sample size this season with him versus man to come to that conclusion. Because this is I like evaluating Tua this year. I wipe out the last 2 years. Okay. Now it goes in the overall evaluation, but we're just evaluating this year. Okay. And me personally, I feel like I'm not going to write him off versus man coverage. Now, we've seen some man and he hadn't looked great, but it's a small sample size. There's no rhythm to that. So would you agree with that, or do you think it just is a wrap? He'll never be able to be a great player versus man coverage?
I agree to the point of we're trying to make the playoffs, and man coverage comes in deep in the playoffs. Most playoff teams,
some, not all, some.
That's a good point.
And then some teams mix it up as well.
Okay, but if we're basing it off of, let's just say 50% of the time he's great versus zone, right? Because
80% of the time he's great versus zone.
I'm thinking drop passes, pressure, over a blitz, anything can happen. 50% of the time he's great versus zone.
80% of the time.
Huh?
80% of the time.
80. Okay, let's just say 80.
He's phenomenal.
I'll give you that. But what would you give his percentage versus man? A good man.
30%. A good man. Well, man in general in this league, 45, 50.
Okay. Now in the playoffs, are you basing that if just like any defensive coordinator, if you're defensive coordinator going against Tua, what would you do? You would
I get that, but the problem is everybody isn't built to do that against us. There's only 5 teams in the whole league that could probably play us that way. And you're not going to deal with 2 of them because they're on the other side of the conference. You see what I mean? So that's also a benefit.
That is.
But one is in our division. In our
division. and we're going to have to go through them, I should say, not him, them, to get to where we want, which is
and the Jets, they aren't man, but they mix it up. They play a little. So it's just so here's the deal. This is the thing for me. It's just the 3rd down and 8 when we get man coverage, you got to be perfect. He did it like yesterday. There was one play to Waddle on 3rd and 7. Waddle beat his man. He put it right where it was supposed to be. And it was man coverage. It was one of the rare times the Lions played man. And that was because if we wouldn't have gotten that 1st down, that could have been disastrous for us. And that's something that I gave him credit for. And that was on man coverage because everybody else was locked up and you just have to make a perfect throw. And Waddle got enough separation and the throw was in stride on the outside for him. And I gave him credit for that. But again, that's why I say it's still small sample size, whether he do good or bad in man.
I feel like it was versus the Lions. The Lions are not the DBs, and the Lions are not built to go man versus Tyreek. If he's slashing on the right side and you have Waddle on the left, there's only so much you can cover all at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me bring some more in the conversation with us. Big Mike, that's a lighter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I need one of those. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hey, Big Mike, I was muting you because it was hard to hear you because it was a lot of background noise.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just a little bit of background noise that's making it difficult.
Okay.
To see.
Hey, Jarvis, I'm gonna come to you real soon. All right, let me read the super chat, homie. All right, 300 Eagles said it doesn't matter what Tua does. Someone will find something bad to say about him, and they always give you credit over it. What's the deal? Now you see how you create
because he got to do it against competition.
Narratives, TD. Now, some people aren't patient enough to wait to see. They want every game to be the deciding factor. You know what I mean? It's like this. It's like having 2 games in a season. One is against the Lions and one is against the Chiefs. And you got the Lions first. And we destroy the Lions and they say we're the greatest team in the league.
Right.
And then when we play the Chiefs, if we get obliterated, there's always these reasons and excuses, but yet they said that I created a narrative after the Lions win. Y'all got to stop that mess. But Jarvis, talk to me. What's on your mind?
I don't think that's a narrative. My bad for cutting you off. I think
man, to be honest with you, after the first 2 years with Tua, I was almost about to give up on him. But this year, I'm giving it a little chance.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Big Mike, you might want to go out and come back in, bro. It sound bad. Go ahead, bro. Jarvis.
Not well. I mean, just to keep it kind of going, I just don't like the whole point of it. They saying it's a narrative. Like, I think you're just speaking the truth. Now, if we took off our love for the Dolphins lenses that blind some of us and just look on what we produce on the field, I mean, if we're striving to actually make the playoffs and make a deep playoff run, we gotta be better. And they can't just throw man at us and give us struggles, getting us 4 and out, or 3rd and long. They just throw a man on us and Tua looks frazzled or dazzled or whatever it is. I think you're just speaking the truth, and that's the truth. And we're playing the Lions. Now, if we play a better team, nonchalant, up on the up and up, like, I mean, you know what made me sick to my stomach is just watching the Jets beat us. So, like, you know what I mean? Did you see that game versus the Jets?
We'll beat them next time, though. We'll beat them.
Go ahead.
Crypto. What's up, Crypto? We can't hear you.
What's up, fellas? What's going on? Can you hear me now?
We good, man. Yeah, add to this for us. Talk to us.
Yeah, I was going to say the things you said earlier this morning was spot on. I was saying that about the Arizona 2.0 deal. Yes, because I will only disagree with you, and I will actually give Tua the full A+ for the game because it was exactly replica of that one, and he went toe to toe with the Arizona quarterback throughout the entire game. You know, so I didn't see any deficiencies in that game as well. So that's why I'm giving him for this one the A+ for the full game. But other than that, like you said, we gotta pretty much see it more consistently, not every other year. We want to see it more against the more established teams in the league. As far as we could say the Buffalo game or the Ravens game, but those are all in the different scenarios versus this one. You know what I'm saying? When things on the line in December, we're going to have to show what we really can do when it's really on the line.
That's all that matters, man. That December
the December games is going to determine, because remember, I said at the beginning, at this time last year, right? We went on that 7-game run. This was the weekend we started it. It was around this time period. We won the game 19-15. It was an ugly game, right? We forced 5 turnovers to the Houston Texans. We ourselves turned it over 4 times. It sounds eerily familiar to last week's game, where we almost turned over the ball as many times as we did against Houston last year. But we got those 3 turnovers, and we won in ugly fashion by beating the Steelers by beating the Steelers. We won in an ugly fashion last year against the Texans before our 7-game win streak against a quote-unquote series of bad teams. So could this be the start of what we did last year? Went on a semi-run prior to having that big crucial game let us down at the end of the season. As you say, time will tell.
Yeah, it always does. And last year, man, we played the bum of all bums on that stretch. I mean, let's just be honest.
Right.
Now we're playing the bum of all bums.
Last year.
Yeah, we're playing the bum of all bums now.
Yeah, we started that long winning streak by destroying one of the worst teams, beating a bad team ugly, and then destroying a lot of bad teams after that.
And the Patriots had a better stretch than us of bad teams. That's why they made the playoffs. It was just in Buffalo too. They didn't have any impressive wins last year. They played the bad. Like, our whole division had an easy cakewalk last year when it came,
especially in the middle of the season, that middle of the stretch. Yeah. Because the Patriots won, didn't they win like 6 games in a row at the same time that we won 7 straight?
Low key, nobody was paying attention.
Nobody was paying attention to it.
They were just low key winning each week. Nobody was paying attention. Next year, how did they Oh my gosh.
They're in the
Right.
playoffs? Wait,
How did they end up in the playoffs?
And we beat them twice.
And we beat them twice. Yeah. Imagine had we not beat them twice, they would have already locked up the division. I'm not the division, but you know what I'm saying. Locked up a playoff berth, and they would have been competing with Buffalo.
But people act like that doesn't matter. Like last year, they even said I was hating because I said we playing all the bums. Let's see versus Tennessee, and I ain't gonna lie, man. I was happy for that game. I said, man, it's the game Tua. He's gonna be able to tell all of us, I'm that dude. Chill out. And sure enough, it was just embarrassing.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing.
And this year, it could be that Buffalo or Green Bay game, or whatever game late December.
Green Bay. It could be the 49ers, Chargers. It could be any one of those four. It could be the Patriots or the Jets at the end. But those last 6 games, all 6 of them, you can't sleep on.
Right. God forbid if it's the Jets again and it's us versus Russell Wilson and we lose.
We ain't losing to no Jets.
I got a question for both of you.
Yeah, I know. I picked us to win that last game of the season.
My question is, how much time, because we were talking about last year, how Tua kind of embarrassed us versus Tennessee, and the year before that, it was a wash-up. So how much time do you guys give a quarterback to prove that they're your guy? How much sample size do you need?
I'm giving them till the end of the year.
Tua,
well, Lance, would that be 3 complete years, Lance?
No. Tua, for me, I feel like
he'll be here next year, but he's
gonna be here next year.
I feel like he's gonna have all 4 years to evaluate.
So 4 years?
He'll have all 4. So next year is the last year. See, my original sense is 3 years. He didn't play the whole first year. He didn't play the whole second year. And obviously he didn't play the whole third now. He done missed the whole season worth. So to me, 4th year, he's going to get a 4th year. So next year.
And for me, if he gets hurt again, I don't want to say writing him off, but it's not a good thing.
Well, here's my thing.
You can't pay him franchise quarterback money if he gets hurt again.
Here's my thing. If we don't make the playoffs for whatever reason this year, I'm just done anyway. Because I'm going to adopt what everybody's saying. If Tua would have played, we would have won. Well, he didn't. And we missed the playoffs again because he didn't.
He held
on to. So at a minimum for me right now, make the playoffs. That's my minimum expectation right now.
So even if he plays the rest of the games, TD, and let's say he plays he plays above average to good, and we miss it, then that will be the line you at, if we miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm done. At the end of the day, ain't no injury 3 years in a row. I don't care if it's the small knickknacks. It don't matter, bro. At the end of the day, if you're gonna get hurt every year, you got to be able to show that you can. Because it's not like. See, here's why. It's not like we still don't have an opportunity to make the playoffs despite him missing games. Because rookie year, it came down to the last game. Yes. He played that whole game. Yes. Regardless of you missing games, you got an opportunity to still get us in. We didn't. Last year, despite missing all of those games, you got an opportunity to get us in Tennessee. This year, despite missing the game, you still got an opportunity to get us in. So let's go.
TD, question for you.
That's a good point. He did play those final games.
Isn't his injury list a part of his evaluation? You say that, don't you?
Not the list per se. He can get a sprained ankle now. That doesn't hurt as long as he out there next week.
Exactly, but
he can't be missing full games, like long stretches of games. Yeah,
when you're missing,
as long as you ain't missing long stretches,
that is a part of your evaluation.
Absolutely, because it ain't gonna get. Listen, we're not gonna always have these 10 games every season that seem like a cakewalk. You're not going to always have that. You already got a division where Buffalo is who they are. So that's 2 games every year. That's going to be a gauntlet. Then the Jets are rising. You know that they're going to be a problem in the future. I mean, Miami fans have this habit of thinking that. Yeah, they have this habit thinking that when we rise, nobody else is rising at the same time.
I can't comprehend something.
Maybe
y'all can help me out. I've been hearing that Tua beat the Lions the worst out of all the teams that they played when the Patriots and Dallas actually shut them out.
Okay.
Well, Dallas let them, I think, have 6 points, or Patriots did. But they shut them out.
What do you mean?
Well, I think
They're saying that Tua played a better game as a quarterback than any other team this year has played
Against Detroit?
Against Detroit.
Tua played a better game than any other quarterback against Detroit this year. I mean, I don't
understand that, because when you get shut out, when you get shut down with 0 points, you can't beat that.
Well,
I'll let you duplicate it.
Well, those other teams
out?
as a team played better game than we did against Detroit. But we got to look at the individual quarterback statistics to see if their quarterbacks did okay, how well they did.
Listen, this is why I keep telling people.
But our team definitely didn't play as good as their teams against Detroit.
But you cannot compare quarterback statistics from one team or another. That's not how this works.
It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you like week one, the team that they played could have came in wanting to run the ball more. That was their game plan.
Right.
Obviously, we wanted to toss the rock, as y'all saw.
Correct.
We obviously wanted to throw the. I mean, you can't compare it that way. Did those other teams deal with? We didn't have their starting safety, their star safety? He didn't play in the game. He played in all those games. I mean, all of these things matter. You can't compare.
You're right, and I think Belichick ran the ball a lot against them in that 29-0 win against them. I don't think Mac Jones was tossing it around like they thought he was. So like
I don't.
The game plan is totally different.
Like, look at this. Let me give you an example. Jalen Hurts in the first game of the season. This is why you can't compare. He had 243 yards against the Lions, but he has 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And the Lions put up 35 points. If you didn't know what you know now, who won that game?
The Lions.
You think the Lions?
Anybody? If I asked anybody, Lions put up 35 points. The opposing quarterback had 243 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And not even
who won the game? And everybody would have said the Lions. But no, the Eagles won the game. And the reason why the Eagles ran the game because they had 4 rushing touchdowns.
You know, and the other thing is Detroit's been letting people score at least 30 on them every game.
Pretty much every game, I think. 30 plus, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 32.
You can't compare quarterback stats.
So we just did average then.
Yeah, I'll do you one better.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts also had 90 yards on the ground in a touchdown. You see what I mean? All-purpose yards, pretty much 360. I don't know how he
all purpose.
Yeah, I don't know how he caught a ball in that game, but he got like 13 yards reception. That's weird. Must have been one of those
batted balls. Yeah, batted balls. And he caught it like yesterday's game. Jared Goff caught his own pass.
So their game plan was to run the rock on the Lions, pretty much. So this is why you can't compare quarterback, how this one did in this game, how that one did in that game. And like we all know that look at it. We all know Washington ain't a good team either.
Right.
They average, okay? They somewhere, well, I ain't gonna say right there with us. They scored 0 points at halftime. The Lions were up 22-0 at halftime over Washington. Washington ended the game with 27 points. Carson Wentz threw for 337, 3 touchdowns. 337 and 3 touchdowns.
337.
Yeah.
So the quarterback rating against him is probably like through the roof now, ain't it? Especially after yesterday's game.
Like this notion that, so
it's going through the stratosphere now. Yeah, every quarterback is having one of those moments, get well moments, basically.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, he threw for 260 and 2 touchdowns, no picks, but they also ran the ball, had Dalvin Cook over 100. Balance.
Dalvin Cook, balance. Yeah, they was balanced.
Yeah, every game. And y'all got to understand, something. The reason why our scores were ran up high as well is because the Lions were scoring so fast.
Yeah, they did score fast on our defense in that first half. They was on pace to score 54 points, TD.
Bro, there was 28
turned
points.
That second half shutout.
Yeah, it was 28 points in like the first quarter. So when you have fast scores, you're going to have more possessions and more yards.
No, I texted my brother. I was like, man, if they score again, I'm running this truck off the cliff.
Nah, don't talk.
No, we need you, Lance. Don't do it. We need more truckers on the road. We gotta get them goods moving.
Look at this, y'all. Look at it. Look at their defense, the Lions defense. Let me give y'all a number. The Seattle Seahawks, right? And this is when they were 2-2. They were 500. Geno Smith, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And actually, he was 80-something% completion percentage as well, or whatever. And Rashad Penny rushed for 151 yards. And Geno himself rushed for 49 yards. So everybody's everybody's doing this to the Lions. What is this narrative?
Right.
Well, they're saying because they're a professional team that it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's the new narrative, Lance.
Yeah.
Now that we've chewed some bark off of them, that's why that's the new narrative now. Because we joined the club.
It depends on how you want to win. The Patriots played them. The Patriots beat them 29-0. Now they shut them out. But the Patriots ran for 100. Ramondre Stevenson's ran for 161 yards.
Yeah, that was
so
they
quickened the game. They ran the ball and it was 25 carries, making that clock run. So it was a shorter game with less scoring. So there weren't going to be a high flying shootout, even though Bailey Zappi was 17 of 21. He threw the ball 21 times and completed 17.
That's over 80%, ain't it? Almost.
Just about.
That's an 80%. That's what we just did with 80%. Yeah. So that's the second quarterback to get over 80%.
Hold on, my bad. I'm typing it wrong.
So
you said 17 for 21, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's over 80%.
81%.
Yeah, that's over
81%. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But that's Bailey Zappi, the backup quarterback. And they ran the ball for 161 yards.
So I guess he's elite now.
No.
Absolutely. The Patriots going to the Super Bowl, Lance, because of it.
Stop that.
Yeah,
let me stop because Master Work going to be clipping me. Let me stop.
Right.
Master Work going to clip me. He said, Crypto saying the Patriots going away.
And Dallas did struggle with them for the most part of the game, even though they still won 24-6. But they ran the ball for 140-something yards between Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. And Dak was 19 of 25 for 207 and 1 touchdown and no pick. So, and people want to say Tua was rusty last week. So why wouldn't Dak rusty then? That was his first game back. But I'm just saying this narrative that, he played better than any other quarterback. You can't compare quarterbacks against different teams. There are different game plans, different ways you do it. Different.
Right.
And then on top of it, how many times did Tua throw the ball?
I think we're offensive.
36 times.
36, yeah.
That's probably second most of any team passing against them.
36, you said?
36. And our leading rusher was 64 yards.
How many did Geno Smith throw? So they scored like 40-some points.
Let me see. Where is
they like 48 against them?
They scored 40. He threw the ball 30 times.
But their running game is way
30 times.
Yeah, 23 for 30. He threw it less than Tua, and he put up 320 yards. And he rushed the ball for 49.
Efficiency-wise, actually, that would be the best game against Detroit as far as efficiency, as far as point total.
if you add the rushing yards and the touchdowns, Geno Smith had 3 touchdowns and 369 yards, 370. So Geno had 370 and 3 touchdowns and no picks. But he also had help on the ground.
His
Rashad
running
Penny
game was a lot better.
had 151 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I mean,
right, he had more help than we did.
What do you guys think about the next 2 coming in? Next 2 games, the Bears and then the Browns.
Running game and a running game. 2
we're
heavy
gonna have to
rush
stop
teams.
their running game.
How are we going to stop it? Are we going to do anything?
2 heavy rush teams. You talking about Nick Chubb and Hunt, and then you talking about Justin Fields and the running all the backs that they got.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. As long as they defense suck, I don't worry about them.
Oh, really? Okay.
If their defense sucks,
I think we can
score
outscore
more points than them.
So you're looking at a Steeler-like game.
No, the Steelers game, we underperformed. Now, we shouldn't have underperformed like that in the Steelers game.
Oh, don't hit me. Don't hit me.
Well, they cornerbacks. Well, they got big, tall, long cornerbacks that can play physical on the edge.
No, I get that, but we shouldn't have the Pittsburgh game. We shouldn't have had that.
No, I'm talking about the Bears. The Bears cornerbacks are athletic.
Yeah, the Bears still out here giving up points, though.
Yeah, but let me Cowboys got top offense.
Oh, well, let me reevaluate that. So the Bears gave up 10 to the 49ers and they beat them, but that's the first game of the season. Many people don't put stock in that. They gave up 20. They gave up 27 to the Packers.
They
gave up 20 to Houston. They gave up 20 to the Giants. They gave up 29 to the Vikings. They gave up 12 to the Commanders, 14 to the Patriots, and 49 to the Cowboys just now. We gonna toast them.
Now
I got another
49 to the Cowboys.
You think Detroit would give trade for Panay Sewell?
Lions? No, they building. They rebuilding.
They rebuilding. Yeah,
I want Panay Sewell so bad. I wanted him when he came out.
They already started there. They already started their build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just waiting on their rookie wide receiver they drafted to come back because he didn't play all year.
Justin Fields can run the ball, and so can Montgomery. I'm just worried about Justin Fields scrambling out, getting out of there, or Montgomery coming out of the backfield. Or
right.
I don't think, just like I thought the Lions game was going to be tough because I knew their offense could really score. I just think I don't know. I feel like the Bears game is going to be tough, and so is the Browns.
Well, I think Duke's been doing pretty good. Duke and Phillips been doing pretty good.
It's going to be the flip of the game we had here. Heavy running versus passing.
No, the Bears should be easier than the Lions. Why? Because the Lions at least can put up points. You worried about the Bears putting up points?
Not really.
They put up 32 against the Patriots, and the Patriots shut those same Lions out.
The Patriots hot and cold.
They did pretty good against Dallas yesterday.
Yeah, and Dallas TD is a very good offense.
They put up 29 versus Dallas, but they were getting blown out like 20, 28 to zip at one point. It turned into trash time quick. I ain't nobody worried about no Bears offense. I done sat here on Monday night, Thursday night, whatever nights watching them. Ain't nothing to be worried about.
They've been looking better the past 2 weeks.
Well, the past 2 weeks they have gotten a little better.
But are they going to score more than we going to score? That's all I'm saying.
Depends what our defense does.
They shouldn't. Depends on if the first half defense shows up like they did last week.
Man. Hold on. So it depends on the defense whether they going to score more than us.
Yeah.
Hold on. No. T. Rich done arrived. You know I got to trap him with it. No, he said it out his own mouth. Depend on the defense. So it depends on the defense if we going to score more than they going to score.
Nah, we're going to score more. Tua a winner.
Exactly. Okay, there you stick with it. I'm with you. Let's go. I got to make sure I ain't got no head, no flip-flopping T-Rich.
Boxed in the corner, boxed himself in.
But sometimes y'all say, record isn't a QB stats. So
it's not.
Consistency.
It's not. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right, then. So
wins and losses with team stats.
He just need to play. He just need to play well.
No, exactly. It was just shocked me when you said that, it depends on the defense. That's why I was like, hold on now. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Look, can we all just admit Tua is performing like a top 5 QB in the NFL right now?
Top 10, yeah.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Name 5.
I'd probably even go a little further.
I ain't performing like a top 5 quarterback right now, but top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got 8 games now. How many of them were at that level versus how many?
Let me ask T Rich this. Let me ask you this. Is Patrick Mahomes performing as a top 5?
Yes.
Is Josh Allen performing as a top 5?
Yes.
Is Geno performing as a top 5?
Lamar.
Yeah.
Well, Lamar turned the ball over too much, even though he's up there, but I still don't like his turnovers right now. That's the only thing that would keep him out of my top 5 right now.
I'll put Lamar in there.
In the top 5 right now?
Yeah.
If I put Geno, I got to put Lamar in there.
Dang, you messing up your case by doing that, but okay, Lamar in there. All right, is Jalen Hurts performing like a top 5?
Yeah.
He's actually
performing better than Lamar.
He's performing better than damn near everybody in the league, to be honest with you.
Hey, I'm still waiting on T-Rich answer, though. No, he don't get no passes. I don't let him walk past nothing.
But the thing is, Tua is performing.
No,
just as
you
well
didn't answer the question. You ain't answer the question.
All right, Jalen top 5 right now. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so they knocked you out.
We gotta knock Lamar out then.
He's guaranteed top 10.
Now we gotta knock Lamar out.
We got Lamar or Geno out.
Now we gotta knock Lamar and Geno out. Come on, man.
Geno out.
Tua is performing just as well as those guys.
No.
Did he perform well versus the Steelers last week?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he did? Hold on, you can't be muddying up the waters like that, T-Rich. I can't let you get away with that.
Because look.
If he played well against the Steelers, then yesterday's game was out of this world.
Hold on. See, T-Rich, this is what we be talking about right here. It's like we're sitting here having a discussion of how Tua.
Just hiding back there.
We're sitting here having a discussion about how Tua is in the top 10, right? And
top
then
5.
you want, okay, whatever, right? But
He's
then
definitely top 10.
But then you come and say you feel like he had a great game with the Steelers.
Not a great game, but he didn't play bad. It was a lot of things.
But it wasn't good. It was
good.
I think it was good. I think the offense just struggled pushing the ball in the end zone. I mean,
let's just say it was below average. It was well below par.
I'm gonna tell you a little.
Is that good enough?
I'm gonna tell you
score output on that game.
I'm gonna tell y'all.
Let's say he was well below par in comparison to yesterday's game.
I'm gonna tell y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna tell y'all.
In comparison to yesterday's game, he was at the floor.
Real quick. I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret, and I want you to hear me, T-Rich. Last week, do you know that I did a Tua film study? And how much of it did I do?
You did half the game.
Half, right? Yep. And the first 2 drives were great. I mean, still some ball placement things, but it was great, right? The rest of it, fair, right? So whatever, right?
Right.
I went and I actually watched the second half of that game. And I honestly was getting mad, not throwing stuff, but my wife saw that I was mad. And you know what my wife told me? She said, just don't do the film study on the second half. Because remember, I kept promising y'all, okay, we're going to do it today. Just don't do the film study on the second half. And it wasn't that he played terrible. It was that he was missing big opportunities. That's what it was in that game that I felt like, oh, crap, here we go again. He was missing big opportunities, but I listened to my wife because she said, if you really care about them making the playoffs, and I admit she did have to talk me through this because I was mad. She said, then just had a positive mojo. Let's go into this week. He's going to win this next game. Don't do the film study on the next one. Bro, he did not have a good game, T-Rich, against Pittsburgh. I promise you.
That was one of the ones you just want to toss out in the trash bin and recycle.
The second half was one of those ones where you like, come on.
Yesterday you keep.
Okay, look.
How many picks did he throw that weren't catched?
T-Rich, compare it to yesterday's game, then there you have your answer.
The first drive coming out of the half, that could have been a touchdown drive, but McDaniel took the ball out of Tua's hand. What about that second drive when Tyreek fell down? That would have been a touchdown. It's a lot of missed
He fell
opportunities.
down.
It's a lot of missed opportunities that the offense had, but the offense did struggle moving the ball against Pittsburgh. I mean, they could have had 5-6 scoring drives if they just would have kicked that field goal after the half. The only difference between the Steelers and the Lions is they were able to convert a lot of those field goals to touchdowns last Sunday or yesterday. That's the only difference. That's the only difference.
The difference is that it was the Lions versus the Steelers.
Correct.
That's the real
I have
difference.
to agree to that.
The Lions. What
My bad.
do you mean by that?
Anyway, my bad,
The
y'all.
Lions defense versus the Steelers defense.
Correct. I agree to that.
TD, the only thing,
Familiarity in the coaching staff of what this quarterback is.
The only difference between the Steelers and the Lions game was Miami was able to convert a lot of those field goals to touchdowns. The offense didn't struggle moving the ball. I mean, Tua still had like 270 yards passing. You had Tyreek running the long route. I mean,
he threw 5 picks.
But that was for the whole game.
He didn't throw 5 picks. He threw 0 picks. And when Tyreek slows down and doesn't run full speed like the route, like you're supposed to, he's basically running the wrong route. He's running the wrong route. And that's why Tyreek tweeted 3 days after the Pittsburgh game that he will be better because he fell down on one of those routes that could have been a touchdown. He slowed down on another route that could have been a touchdown.
So now Tyreek Hill's getting the blame. Was he's helping you single-handedly win games?
No, Tyreek did make some. Tyreek did mess up in that game a lot. He did.
Yeah.
T. Rich is right about that. But T. Rich, we don't got to go back and forth. That second half,
abysmal.
I ain't gonna say abysmal, but come on, bro.
It brought his numbers down a lot.
He left his own 150 yards, 2 touchdowns on the field.
He didn't play awful though.
I didn't say he played awful. He played like trash.
I know, but everyone's acting like he played awful and that the offensive struggles were all on him. And that wasn't fact. He actually looked pretty sharp. Considering that was his first game in 24 days. The guy is a surgeon. Like the guy has it.
Yeah, listen, everybody just about has it versus the Lions. I'm just saying. Let me ask you a question. Did he have it versus New England in Week 1?
Yeah,
was he a surgeon? CT Rich, like we can't never have a real conversation, bro. Like, gosh, I really want to have a conversation with you, T. Rich, but we can't have no. He was a surgeon versus New England, is what you're telling me.
No, he wasn't a surgeon, but it was an okay game. It wasn't.
See, I'm not asking you whether it was good, okay, but we going off a surgeon right now. Was he a surgeon versus New England?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't surgical. No.
Was he surgical in the first 3 quarters of Baltimore?
But see, I don't like that because that's like
no. Let me, and I'm gonna give you an opportunity to rebuttal that, but let me finish what I'm doing real quick. Was he surgical in the first 3 quarters?
Surgical. No, I mean carving.
He was surgical. No, not the first 2 quarters. He was surgical in the 3rd quarter.
Okay, you know what? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Buffalo, was he surgical?
No.
Yeah.
He was good in Buffalo. I give him.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I'll give him. No. You ain't got. I give you Buffalo. I actually like Buffalo game with Tua.
Outside of that one pass down the middle to Waddle, I don't think he's carved up the defense.
Listen,
I like
carved up the defense. That was just a big boy throw. Outside of that big boy throw, he gets a Waddle.
I like this Buffalo game.
A lot of times, people don't know.
He was efficient.
So they look at
he wasn't surgical. He was more efficient.
Hold on.
The New England game and the Buffalo game, the offense didn't have a lot of offensive drives. I mean, teams averaged about.
They had 6 drives. That's a potential 42 points.
Right. So
they scored half the points.
Okay, hold on. Our defense.
They was at a 50% rate, which is fine. That's why I said efficient.
A 50% rate is really high. Our defense could not get off the field. Tua only had 5 drives in the Buffalo game, and he had 2 touchdowns, 2 out of 5. And I'm not even counting that touchdown drive that defense took the football for. That's 40%. That's 40%.
T. Rich, I'm gonna bring you some help in. I'm gonna bring the number 1 Tua near in, man. Number 2, you number 1.
All right. Okay.
Here you go.
EM's got his thing on.
Here you go. Here you go.
EM is in the building.
Man, TD, you need to stop, bro. Stop. Listen, real quick. Listen.
This is a 2-and-near week for EM. You know, he be,
listen.
I respect that though. He week by week though. That's how he's supposed to be.
I had to start I had to break.
Yeah, he has an A+ performance last week.
I had to start my break a little earlier today because I just could not take this nonsense, this buffoonery any longer. I had to get on here and address the buffoonery. Listen.
Oh,
can we all listen? Can we all just give Tua credit for what he did yesterday?
We did.
Yeah, we did. A+.
He was great. I gave him an A.
See,
that
was TD. A+.
Tua was phenomenal yesterday. I felt like that's the best game I've ever seen Tua play. Maybe even when he was at Alabama, because you had a little. Listen. Let me have the floor for just 1 second, because you had a lot of elements in that game that you can use to gauge franchise level quarterback play. And I get the rebuttal is going to be, well, it's the Lions, okay. And I've been listening to y'all, kind of indirectly try to diminish what he did yesterday based off the opponent. But really, all you can expect is for you to play and play well against, the opposition. And Tua dominated what was in front of him yesterday. Let's just keep it real, right?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I mean by franchise elements is that, okay, as soon as they got off the bus, adversity was smacking Tua in the back of the head. The team, but Tua included, right? So they were down out the gate 14-0. And Tua, he said he had it in his mind, if we lose this game today, it's not going to be because of me. He kept his team close. He did enough. He played well enough to keep his team close. And then when the game was in terms of the momentum was close, he elevated his play and he was able to capture momentum, made enough big-time franchise-level quarterback plays to influence the game in a favorable manner, for his team. Give him credit for that.
What do you mean elevated? It was high the whole time, the whole game.
Well, I think he even played better when they got closer in the second half, I think. But
he played great in the first half. That football.
Yeah, he played just as good all 4 quarters. That's why I say it's an A+ for me.
Nope.
There was no change in his play.
Can I please finish? Okay, so that's why, again, to my point about him, this is the best game I've ever seen Tua play, is because from start to finish, and I think he got a little better in the second half. From start to finish, his play was at a franchise quarterback level. Now, I'm not saying he's a franchise level quarterback right now, but he had the way he played and conducted himself on the field yesterday. It was franchise level quarterback play, and just give him credit for that. Give him credit for that,
and it was franchise level quarterback play.
Let me finish. I'm not done yet. Give him credit for that. Let's celebrate the win. Let's celebrate Tua this week, and let's move forward. Let's not worry about, is he the guy for the next 10 years? Let's take it game by game, right? It is what responsible evaluators do, game by game, and then we'll evaluate the data when the sample size is complete at the end of the season. But as of right now,
let's worry about it now because my boy needs the $250 million all guaranteed. So let's worry about it now.
So EM, you're coming in here speaking like a logical person that if you didn't have comments like what T Rich did, that's the conversation we would be having. But the reason why you're hearing a different conversation because you got all these people running around here thinking that yesterday meant exactly what T Rich is saying. So I'm not disputing what you're saying. Everything you just spoke was 1,000,000% correct. But the only reason this conversation is being had is because one group of people have this delusion that made him a franchise quarterback. He played like a franchise quarterback, but it didn't make him a franchise quarterback. Just like sometimes he plays like trash. It don't make him trash.
You got it, TD. Listen, I advise everybody. This is my approach to those individuals. I just tune them casuals out, bro. Let them talk.
It's just conversation.
Let them casuals talk. Let them two-and-ears do what they do. Hey, man, I'm tuning them out. I'm trying to enjoy and evaluate this team.
Wait a minute, EM, you turning over a new leaf now?
Yeah, man, I'm out. They get my blood pressure too high, bro.
Shooting out the conversation.
It's starting to affect my health. It's starting to affect my personal life. It's starting to affect my personal life. My wife, she said, she can't stand to be around me sometimes when she hear me screaming at these idiots online. You know what I mean? No, I have.
Ian was turning the page.
For my own sanity,
things are not going to be the same, Ian, with you in the comment section. Ian thinks it's not going to be the same, but you're not in the chat.
For my personal sanity, I got to tune them out, bro. I got to tune them out.
You got to give us one every now and then, Ian.
Two things. One, TD, do not look past Chicago. And the reason behind it is this. Chicago has run for over 200 yards 4 straight games. What is the Dolphins' weakness? And number 2, do not discount in Chicago. My wife is from Chicago.
I am too.
Weather can change. What does Tua struggle in?
Bad weather.
Bad
Please
weather.
do not discount
That neutralizes
Chicago.
high-powered offense.
You playing outside.
Well, they say it's a 50% chance of rain with 17-degree winds.
Yes, sir.
And
you
60
can have the
degrees
same San Francisco game as the first game with Miami. Now, even though Miami knows how to play in the rain, should be familiar with it, it's going to be cold. Do not discount that.
That's the Tennessee game all over again. If that's
y'all stop.
That game. If this trade goes through and getting Nick Chubb, that could help us. Because if we put more focus on the run and it softens up the defense to allow Tyreek and Waddle and Gesicki to get down the field, that could be what we need. But number 2, I will get this. TD, I'm with you. I am concerned about the penalties. That's a McDaniel issue.
Yeah.
And I will for the first time, give Josh Boyer his credit. What has he done the last 2 games? He has made adjustments after halftime. That is crucial. The first half, the defense wasn't playing well. The second half, they shut Detroit down. That is something you can build on, especially with you beginning to get your players back. That's something Miami can build on and go with. But if we have an undisciplined team playing against an opponent that we should win against in Chicago, that can turn out to be our Achilles heel. We cannot have those same kind of penalties against Detroit, against Chicago. In Chicago, we will lose that game. This is where we have to show some discipline. And I'm concerned about that with a rookie head coach, as well as with an offensive line that's now got to go through some reshuffling, especially with Eichenberg being lost. So now we got to take a look at getting some consistency and being able to have the run game to dominate the game more so than Tua's passing. This is where Tua's got to be a game manager, and we got to take the win however we get it till we get ready to go back on Murderer's Row the last 7 games of the season.
Well, let me address that. With the Nick Chubb, let me address the Nick Chubb and game manager comment, because before this season started, everyone was saying this offense is going to be West Coast, prioritize the run.
T-Rich, real quick. Hang on. No. You can rock, bro. Real quick. I'm just checking my phone. The Dolphins are interested in trading for. I'm just seeing this right now. They're interested in trading for Bradley Chubb.
It's the title of this video, Ian.
I didn't know. Well, I can't see the tie. I wasn't paying attention.
Bradley Chubb, not Nick Chubb.
No, hey, I get so distracted by your foolishness, bro. I don't even pay attention to the title of the video. Real
You see
talk.
how TD
I'm just checking my notifications on my phone right now. And I'm like, damn. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you how y'all all was wrong. Everyone said that the McDaniel offense was going to be prioritized to run, get the run started, pass off the run, and that's not the case. The case is this is a.
I never said that, T. Rich.
This is a pass coach.
I came up with the 60-40 rule.
Tua is the driver of this offense. McDaniel even uses Tua to run out the clock. Like anytime there's a situation where they need to run the ball and run out the clock, we're throwing the ball. We saw that in the Patriots game. We saw that in Pittsburgh game. We saw that yesterday. Like he's throwing the ball to run out the clock, and that's how much confidence that he has in his kid. And you guys were all wrong. Everyone missed it. Everyone said no.
Why y'all shaking your head? Wait.
All Tua has to do is be Garoppolo. Y'all even want to Garoppolo.
Wait. Hold up. Why EM or why is TD and what you just call it shaking your head? No. Why you said
because
no?
You said Tua is throwing the ball to run out the clock for us.
Yeah. You saw it
Against who? Against who? I don't care.
It's situational.
Against
so
the
TD,
Patriots.
You saying it's situational while we doing that?
Bro, we're talking about secondaries that cannot compete. These are all secondaries that can't compete. The only thing I keep telling y'all, we're going to win tons of games. The only thing that matters is those teams that can actually compete. Who's going to win the slug-out fest?
You don't allow any excuses for Tua. I mean, this line has been injured all
I don't allow excuses for nobody.
For Tua, but you give all the excuses for the opponent.
I don't allow excuses for no one.
But you give the excuses for the opponent.
Name one.
Okay, for instance, Tua didn't have his wide receiver core was out all last season. You never gave an excuse for that. But if the other team's safety is out, well, the safety was out. It's like
T Rich, you're doing the classical not listening to what I'm saying. I give no excuses to anyone. I throw that back in y'all face. When y'all say Tua wouldn't have lost those games, where their safety was out, where their secondary was depleted. If y'all want to use that, then why aren't y'all I only throw that back to y'all. I don't give nobody excuses. We beat Buffalo. Your secondary was out. Who cares? You lost. We beat Baltimore. You blew it. You lost. I don't give excuses for any of these teams. Didn't I just say? Hold on. Didn't I just say a few days ago? Herbert playing like trash. I don't care nothing about his circumstance. But then when y'all want
on pace to throw 5,000 not too long ago.
No. Well, EM brought that to my attention. I didn't know that. I said Herbert was playing like trash. I didn't know he was on pace. I didn't know it. Well, he's still on his pace for 5,000, playing like trash.
Because he throws the ball 50 times a game.
He's still on pace for 5,000. Hold on.
But you got to complete some of them, though, right? T-Rich?
Hold on. So if I sit there and say Herbert's playing like trash and Tua play like trash, they playing like trash. It's not until y'all start talking about, well, if this would have happened, well, if you want to use that for Tua, did the same thing for Herbert. I just show y'all hypocrisy. I kept it consistent. I said Herbert played like trash. I was shocked at his numbers when EM sent them to me the other day.
No,
I was
blown away.
You don't know how to read stats. If you throw the ball 57 times, and you throw the
fine.
ball
bro. Hang on. No. You can't say that just because he's throwing the ball 57. He's still playing at a high level. He's still having top 10 numbers. What are you talking about? Okay. Just because he's throwing the ball, you still got to make the plays. And anyway,
the receiver still got to catch it for it to be counted
anyway, look at it from this perspective. As one-dimensional as the Chargers' offense is, that even makes it easier for defenses to scheme against you, bro. When when the defensive coordinator is at night when he's evaluating the film and trying to compile a game plan, well, damn, these motherfuckers are throwing the ball 35, 45, 50 times a game, and they have an inability to run the football. That's easier for defenses. But yet this man is going out there, and on top of that, with the 30, he's consistently for 3 years now had one of the three worst defenses in the entire league. So you got to get off the bus, right? Every time you get off the bus, you have to have the mindset of throwing the ball. I got to put 30 on the board. And you can't run the ball, and you're a one-dimensional offense, and you've been historic in your first 3 years. Stop it. The man, y'all need to stop with this foolishness trying to take away from what this man has achieved to try to prop up Tua. All y'all Tuaniers do that all day long.
And
Just
that's
respect
why
that.
We need to focus on putting up 20 points. Baker Mayfield broke the rookie record before Herbert. No one cares about.
Bro, y'all need to stop, man.
NFL, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately?
Nah, T-Rich, but the
worst division in the
but
NFL.
T-Rich,
He's in the worst division in the NFL, guys.
T-Rich,
he still might miss the playoffs.
But T-Rich, the point of the matter is the point. Hold on. The point of the matter is, T-Rich, at the end of the day, you tried to call me out for not giving other people excuses because I don't give them excuses either. At the end of the day, I said Herbert playing like trash. And technically he's not. And I said he playing like trash. But the only reason I even mention his circumstance is because y'all trying to diminish how he playing. So this is what kills me. If y'all say I'm diminishing how Tua playing and you throw all the excuses. So when y'all try to diminish how Herbert's playing and I throw out some reasons,
hey TD,
it don't make sense to me.
TD, change your response from saying excuses to variables. Change it to variables.
Attributables and variables.
Because when players are missing on defense, such as a defensive backfield, are missing like in Baltimore and in Buffalo and other things, change it to variables. So that way the Tuaniers won't get offended when you bringing these things up, even though it's true. And the facts are, we as a fan base, we cannot sit up here and be to the point where we cannot take criticism. It's fair criticism, and we all gotta look at it. I don't care about what everybody looks at as far as whether you call them excuses or variables. The bottom line, T-Rich, I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at overall each player, how they play. And right now, Tua is on the clock. I like Tua as a person. I want him to be successful. I'm rooting for him each week. But what Tua has to show is growth. He has to show improvement week to week and consistency.
Every quarterback has to show that.
Consistency.
Criticism. And that's
what franchise quarterbacks do, T-Rich.
Yes, sir.
Consistency.
That's what franchise. Okay. That's what separates.
Is Aaron Rodgers a franchise quarterback because he isn't consistent? Is Kyler Murray a franchise quarterback because he isn't consistent? What about Dak Prescott?
You saying Aaron Rodgers is inconsistent?
When you
got one bad year out of 20 seasons and you want to call him inconsistent.
I know, right? Bro, stop.
No, this is what y'all do. Y'all are creating a standard that is impossible for quarterbacks to meet.
How?
How is it impossible?
That's incorrect.
Hold on.
How?
Hold on. Let's say Tua doesn't work out in Miami. You guys are defining a standard that Skylar Thompson will never reach. And
you don't know that. Stop saying that. You don't know that. You don't know that.
Hold on. The way you are critiquing Tua, if Tua leaves Miami, these fans will critique Skylar Thompson the same way you guys are critiquing Tua, which
as they should.
He's an NFL quarterback. He's a professional.
No, we got 25 years of infertility, T-Rich. So guess what? Everybody is getting criticized.
No, playing quarterback in the NFL is the hardest job in the NFL. I mean, listen, playing quarterback in the NFL is the hardest job maybe
we
in
understand
the world.
That, T-Rich. We understand that, T-Rich.
We don't understand because when you guys hyper criticize these players, you guys are dumbing down the sports, and you're dumbing down these people in the chat who thinks that quarterbacks need to go out and throw 300 yards every game and 3 touchdowns.
Who said that? Who said that?
That's up to them. Nobody's dumbing them down. That's up to them to make their own evaluation.
Who said that?
Wait a minute. Who's dumbing down people in the chat?
Everybody pause.
They got their own mind.
T-Rich, who said that? Who made that statement? What you just said? he got to go throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns every single game. Who said that?
If Tua throws a 50-yard pass, and it's
No. I asked you a specific question.
It's difficult for any quarterback to do consistently.
I asked you a specific question.
Hold Skylar Thompson or whoever the next quarterback to that same standard, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying literally you guys said 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interception. I'm just saying that the standard that you guys are creating is to that level.
No. I can only speak for myself. I
know
listened to
the past 2 years you guys said hold on. Over the past 2 years, you guys said that the quarterback is supposed to make his team better, which is total nonsense. Is Aaron Rodgers making his team better? Is Tom Brady making his team better? That's a don't
they've got a large.
Don't even go down.
Bro, they got a large sample size of elevating teammates. Absolutely. You don't ignore it. You just picked out Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, the two most dominant players in this past for the last 20 years.
Right.
And just because they're struggling, maybe a little bit compared to their standard, you're gonna sit here and say they're not. You're gonna discount everything they've achieved in their career, bro. That's what you're doing.
T-Rich, can I
listen, hang on. Real quick. I want everybody to snapshot exactly what a casual is. This guy T-Rich right here. That's what casuals do. That's what casuals do.
T-Rich, can I respond to what you said, T-Rich?
Say that again.
I said, can I respond to what